Take me on home to the asylum. Never alone in the asylum. Anarchy ruled, it was wild, but through it all you never smiled. Joke's on you, I'm in your head, so look who's laughing now. Remember in Arkham City, I killed your girl, so pretty. That was the night you let me die. But when I looked you in the eye, that's when I knew we'd be together. Look who's laughing now. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I feel you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I am the clown, prince of crime. And we've had a hell of a time. You're part of me, I'm part of you. And now there's nothing left to do. I just can't wait till I'm in control. Who'll be laughing then? I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. Oh yeah, I think I can taste your fear. Now that my time is near, I'm in your blood, I'm so alive. I only wish you'd let me drive. It won't be long till I make you kill. Who'll be laughing then? Barbara's dead and I'm laughing. Ah! Jason Todd's dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm even dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. I'm cock-a-doodle-doo. All because of you. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. I filled you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you.
Attend the tale of Maxwell Rothy, sought the footlights like a moth, his sense of timing never off until he opted to collaborate with a hooded reprobate. The blighter and assassin made a deadly double bill. Jokes, 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 make 'em laugh until they choke, fairly slay 'em in the aisles, maidens fair and princes charming. Thrills, 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 dashing feats and bloody spills, and I guarantee you'll never see the ending coming. The curtain rose, the scene was set, they danced a murderous duet, and much deserving blood was let up to the scene wherein they disagreed on who should live and who should bleed, and Maxwell Rothy then received a very bad review. Jokes, 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 and there's daggers and there's cloaks, but behind the scenes the leading players differ on the plot. Laugh, laugh, laugh at the dandy's new red scarf. Now 8 shows a week to Beelzebub is his eternal lot. Jokes, 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 make 'em laugh until they choke, fairly slay 'em in the aisles, maidens fair and princes charming. Thrills, 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 dashing feats and bloody spills, and I guarantee you'll never see the ending coming.
Did you see it coming? Did you see the ending coming? Probably not. Probably not, because you weren't paying attention. It's your fault. That's why. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Today is a glorious day, a tremendous day, a fun day. Probably the biggest thing right now is that, of course, they just dropped the nominations for the Game Awards. So we're going to look at all of that. We're going to check it all out. Booyah. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. How am I feeling about the nominations? We'll talk about it. Overall, there's like a few that I'm like, But overall, I mean, I think they all make sense. As I've said for like this whole year, this is just such a jam-packed year of great games that anybody falling off the list, you know, of like Game of the Year nominations, people are pointing to like It Takes Two, for example. It's like, you know what? It's been so good that you can make an argument for why it would fall off the list. Like, for this Game of the Year nominations, we've got Expedition 33, makes sense. Death Stranding 2, it's a Jeff Keighley show. I don't think anybody's surprised there. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I have no idea what to think about that one. Hades 2.
Donated $10
Okay.
through Super
Silksong,
Chat.
yeah.
What are the
KCD,
chances that
hell yeah.
Jeff personally told Kojima that he saved a spot for Death Stranding 2?
Here's the deal. I don't think on paper Jeff has that kind of unilateral power. But it does create a conflict of interest when everybody knows how close they are for him to be like judging this type of thing. It's like if Jeff were like close personal friends with Neil Druckmann or close friends with Todd Howard, and then one of their games comes out and is in the rotation for nominations and winning. Like, it just creates a conflict of interest, which is why Jeff has set it up so there is a distinguishing of his role versus like the jury. But I think it could be made clearer. My understanding is that Jeff is one vote of many that determines who's on this list. That's my understanding. So I don't think he can like brute force it. We'll meme and joke about it that, oh yeah, well, Jeff's buddy with Kojima. But, you know, in actuality, I don't think he's like using whiteout to remove Split Fiction to put Death Stranding 2 in there. I just think that this is where the journalists went. Because you have to remember, most of the people that are voting on this to get this list made are like journalists for Games Radar, IGN, Eurogamer, VGC. I think SkillUp is one of the guys. Like, they have a jury that is selecting this and voting on it. And so if you pause and you think, what kind of games do those types of people love? Then it starts to click. You know, it's why it makes sense that like Silksong is on here. It's really popular among like gaming journalists. Same with Donkey Kong, really popular among gaming journalists. And to their credit, they still nominated Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I'm impressed by, because I half expected them to skip over it because they don't like the some of the founders or the founder of Warhorse. A lot of the journalists throw fits over him. So, but overall, I mean, I think it's just been a tremendous year. And I think last year, if you were to look forward, we all assumed it would be like Ghost of Yotei, Silksong if it launched, Death Stranding 2, people thought was going to be a slam dunk. Monster Hunter, a lot of people assumed that would be a Game of the Year contender, and it's like fallen off completely. So it's been a surprising year, but a surprisingly good year, and I'll take it. But what do you guys think? I'm going to read through the chat here in a second. What do you guys think of the nominations? What do you think? Let's start with Game of the Year first. What do you think of this? What do you think of all of this? I want to know. Let's see. And then Resident Azivel. Thank you. Thank you for the 5. Are there any games that were not nominated for certain categories / any games that weren't nominated? Any that were or weren't that you wish got recognition? We'll look at it. I think Split Fiction is one where, like, honestly, Split Fiction, I think, deserved a little bit more credit than it got. Personally, but, you know, it was a very competitive year, so I get it. But like the most nominated games were Expedition 33, Ghost of Yotei has 7 nominations, Death Stranding 2 has 7 nominations. Silk Song with 5, Split Fiction with 4, to their credit. Sorry, this is just funny. That is funny. But I think personally, I don't dislike Death Stranding 2, but I personally feel that it is, I don't want to say it's not as good as the first game, but man, it doesn't hit the same way. It just doesn't. Even among Death Stranding fans, I think most people are like, yeah, I mean, it kind of turned into like a UPS delivery simulator, literally. The first game was a hiking simulator, and that's kind of what I liked about it. The second game is literally driving trucks and delivering massive cargo, and to accommodate the trucks, and cars and vehicles in general, they ended up streamlining a lot of the missions and orders, and it just kind of killed the vibe, personally, for me. Like, it just killed the vibe. Amazon Sim, yeah. Donkey Kong, like I said, I don't even know what to think about that one. What was Hades 2? I have a Hades 2. I just got it on my Steam Deck and ROG Ally, and that's on my playlist. I've put some time into it, but I want to like actually sit down and put like 10 hours into it straight. Let's see, Silk Song, obviously. Ghost of Yotei, this one also very well done. It just feels like these two games, where did it go? These two games are good, but they just, man, they suffer from sequelitis, you know, like they're just like refinements of the first game. They're better mechanically than the first games, but they just don't hit the same way as the first games for me. Like Ghost of Tsushima, if I had to pick, like, maybe this is the way, if I had to pick one game to take with me onto a deserted island for 6 months, and that's like all I can play, it's the most video gamer prompt ever. You're on a deserted island. What video game do you bring? But if I had to pick one video game, I probably would put Ghost of Tsushima over Ghost of Yotei, and I'd probably put Death Stranding 1 over Death Stranding 2, personally. Maybe I'm just a boomer. Who knows? You know, if I had to pick between the first game or the second game, I'd probably go with the first one. Whereas like Hades 2, yeah, I go with the second game. Silk Song as well. I think a lot of people would pick Silk Song over Hollow Knight. Well, actually, maybe I shouldn't say that, because a buddy of mine, the way he described his time with Silk Song was, he's like, I don't think I've played a game that makes me as miserable as Silk Song. It's like I play it and I just get angry and upset. It's like, yeah, I kind of I can understand that feeling. You know, I can understand that feeling. Split Fiction, very, very good, but this I think was a victim of this year's stacked lineup more than anything. It's like, it's very good, but it's just like when you're going up against Expedition and you're going up against games like K-City 2, like it's just hard to land on Split Fiction. Like, it's a good game. I'm really glad I played it, had a really good time. Personally, I prefer It Takes Two more. I just like that story and the characters more. The elephant scene will always be goated, but with Split Fiction, it absolutely deserves recognition. And again, the idea that Split Fiction, one of the highest rated and reviewed games of the year, it came from EA. Let that settle in. Blueprints is also a victim. It says Silver Kitten. Yeah, Blueprints is probably the one that got snubbed the hardest. And I think it's just, frankly, that it's a very niche game. It's just a niche game. Like, you probably, the stats are pretty clear. The majority of you guys out there have not played it. It's a very niche game. But it has a 92 on Metacritic. It is one of the most critically acclaimed games of the last like 5 years. 92. And it's tough. It's like a puzzle game, but it's a roguelike. It's very weird. And it's unlike anything you've probably ever played. But because of that, because it's a very niche game, not many people play it. And you remember, the people that get to choose nominations and stuff are the ones, the journalists who are playing a lot of stuff, and they also tend to play a lot of the big popular stuff, the AAA stuff. So an indie game like a Blueprints can fall off pretty easily and quickly. So this is probably the one that got shafted the worst out of all of the like top games. There's others that have been brought up, like, you know, Dispatcher, Arc Raiders. Some people I think expected a lot more. Jesus Christ. Expedition 33 on the indie game category. Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. I mean, I do think Expedition 33 is probably going to clean up there. I think that's probably safe to say. I'm sorry, I was not ready for that meme. Oh my god. Come on, the Game Awards website is struggling right now. Struggling. I want to pull up the whole thing. I want to pull it all up. Donkey Kong over Ghost of Yote is crazy. Honest question. Those of you out there who have played Ghost, Ghost, well, I guess Ghost 2, but those of you who have played Donkey Kong, where does it land for you? Is it as good as the journos made it out to be? Because it's from the same team that did Super Mario Odyssey, and I'm going to trigger some of you right now. I thought Super Mario Odyssey was okay. Like, I thought it was fine or even good. I'd say it's good. I did not understand the 10 out of 10 for Super Mario Odyssey. I just didn't get it. Okay. I understand if you need to unsubscribe. I understand. I get it. But it didn't land for me. Is Donkey Kong like a similar vibe? Because I've seen some people say that it's amazing and it's fantastic, but then other people are like, it's a fetch quest game. That's kind of what they do. Let's see. Nintendo hype Bonanza is so ass. The gameplay is crisp. I don't know anyone with a Switch 2. It's just there to keep Nintendo fans happy. Let's see. It's all right, but Nintendo hype. I'm on a delay to capture stream clip, but Blueprints is really boring, says Jacob. Jacob, it's just because apparently you have a problem with the puzzles. Frankly, that seems to be your problem. That's one of those games. Silksong is a victim of it too, where like if you say you don't like some aspect of it, or like you fell off it was boring or whatever, they just say, well, it's a skill issue. Like my friend who played Silksong and was like, it makes me miserable and I hate my life when I'm playing it because it's so hard. A lot of people will be like, well, skill issue. Seems like you suck. That's a you problem. And it is a you problem, but it's also like, well, if a game makes you miserable, maybe you shouldn't play it. Let's see. Krieg Zeus, who actually plays Nintendo, I do think there is a certain element of Nintendoisms. Like who was it? It was that guy. It was that guy who faked the Nintendo leaks, I think. What is his name? You know the YouTuber I'm talking about? He faked the Nintendo leaks and then like tried to spin it as a grand experiment of how beat 'em ups. That's what it was. I gotta find the clip because I remember he's a Nintendo focused guy, and he was saying that like no good games launched this year, and it was just like, what are you talking about? I gotta find the original clip though, because I don't want to take anybody out of context, and if I'm misremembering it, I wonder if I can find the clip. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. This was like a month ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, I don't see it. Damn it. But I do think Nintendo players, a lot of Nintendo focused channels and YouTubers and streamers and just players in general, they tend to be isolated pretty hard from the rest of the environment, where if you're on Nintendo's platform and that's where you mainly hang out, you are not going to be playing a lot of like the big popular third-party games. Like you're not playing Expedition 33, you're not playing KCD 2. I don't think any of those have Switch 2 ports yet, at least. So like you tend to be very, very isolated. And so for you, maybe a Donkey Kong is your game of the year, but there's so much more than just what's first party Nintendo, you know? If it isn't on Steam, it doesn't exist. Well, that's the other side of it, where like if you're a PC exclusive player, then you might not have played like a Ghost of Yote, but there's still like the majority of the games that you're playing are big ones from this year. Let's look at this though. Let's look at this. Okay, 2025 nominees. Game of the year. The website already broke and doesn't want to load. I'm clicking and it's not doing anything. Hooray. Okay, well, while that loads, I made the mistake of clicking on something on the website. Let's refresh. Let's refresh. You view all categories. Let's shift forward. Best game direction. Okay, at least now it's spinning. Best game direction. We'll sit and we'll wait. It's cooked at the moment. Damn it, Jeff. Maybe their Twitter account is working better. Here, the Game Awards. The Game Awards. So Game of the Year, as we went through, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Silksong, and KCD 2. I think it is surprising to see like Donkey Kong in here instead of a Ghost of Yote or a Split Fiction. I think Split Fiction specifically probably deserves to be on here somewhere. But other than that, I think all of these kind of make sense. Personal pick, I'm still going back and forth between Expedition 33 and KCD 2. KCD 2's DLC has done a lot for the game as well, especially the Smithy DLC, but I mean, they're both just so good. They're very good in different ways, but profound ways. Like the music alone in Clair Obscur is so freaking good. I cannot tell you the last time that I have played like a video game soundtrack unironically in the car, like while just driving. But I will play songs from Clair Obscur regularly because the music is just so good. Oh, it's so good. So good. Alex, thank you. Luke, do you think Expedition 33 will grab all of their nominations? And if so, would it be healthy for the industry? I mean, I think it'd be exciting. I don't know about healthy or unhealthy. I think if Clair Obscur wins Game of the Year, I think it's going to sweep everything else. Because I think Clair Obscur is one of those games where if it's your favorite game of the year, it's like one of your favorite games of the decade, you know? And that means all of those people on the jury that are checking the boxes for what is your favorite game in this category? What's your favorite game in this category? I think they're all marking Expedition 33 across the board. Expedition 33 is not an indie game. Why is it on as their debut indie game? There's a couple, I think, was it last year or 2 years ago? I think it was Lies of P. Like Lies of P was being published by, I think it was Nexon, if I recall correctly. And Nexon is like a big publisher. And so it was like, are they really indie? The indie category gets messy. Okay, so there. Let's just do this. Best performance. 57.
Ben Starr for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Charlie Cox for Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Fair.
Erika Ishii for Ghost of Yote.
Personally, no shade. I'm realizing there's no way to say this without it sounding like shade.
Jennifer English for Clair Obscur
Jennifer English
Expedition
totally makes
33.
sense. She's phenomenal in that.
Konatsu Kato for Silent Hill F.
Konatsu Kato.
And Troy Baker for Indiana Jones.
This one's very, very fair. The fact Andy Serkis isn't nominated is crazy. Also, the fact that Tom McKay isn't nominated for Henry is also wild. And I'm sure that that Erika is a very nice person, and I think she did a great job as Atsu. But Henry, I mean, come on. He's feeling quite hungry. Jesus Christ be praised. I mean, come on. So what's a memorable line from Erika's delivery in Ghost? I don't, that could be a writing thing, but I don't know. But I will forever. Just the other day I made a comment while we were out and about at a restaurant, and I made a comment while I was sitting there with my wife, and I just went, feeling quite hungry. And Nikki looked at me like I was crazy. What? She doesn't appreciate me, is basically what I'm saying. But Troy Baker, to his credit, fantastic as Troy Baker. Aaron Paul, yeah, Aaron Paul could easily been on here too, though. But was Dispatch, was it past the cutoff? Was it past the cutoff for some of that stuff? I don't know. Easily he could have been there too. Easily.
In the Great Circle.
But yeah, Troy
Best
Baker.
ongoing game.
It's like his Indiana Jones imitation is fantastic.
The nominees are Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite,
Ongoing game.
Helldivers 2,
Dude, I like Helldivers, but the game runs like ass now. Like actual ass. I don't know what they did. When it first came out, I didn't have any bugs. I didn't have any issues. It was polished and it was great. But man, it runs like donkey ass right now. It's too bad. They got to fix it up.
Marvel Rivals, and
Rivals?
No Man's Sky.
Dude, it's always No Man's Sky. Rivals has been really good. Their drop of content's been crazy. No Man's Sky has also been totally insane. Helldivers, they've done updates, but again, I feel like if you're breaking your own game, that should count for something negative. Rivals, they've done a really good job, and No Man's Sky, either one I think could win it, and I'd be fine.
Sky. For Best Mobile Game, the nominees are
WWE Champions.
Destiny Rising, Persona 5 The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Uma Masume Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves. This year's nominees for Best Art Direction are Claire Obscure Expedition 33,
This one's going to be hard to beat, frankly. The art direction in Claire Obscure is so good.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hades
Okay.
2, and
Yeah, that's a good
Hollow
one.
Knight Silk Song.
That's a good one, too.
best-
I think Claire Obscure takes it.
Score and music leveled up by Spotify.
Cancel me all you want. Cancel me. Did you ever see that TikTok of the guy who's just like going into random Call of Duty lobbies and says something totally mundane and is like, cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. Do whatever you're going to do. That's me taking a very popular opinion. Claire Obscure has the best art direction. Cancel me. I don't care. Yeah. Claire Obscure. Great game. Cancel me. I don't care.
The nominees are Christopher Larkin for Hollow Knight Silk Song,
'Kay.
Karen Korb for Hades 2,
'Kay.
Lorian Testar for Claire Obscure
Claire Obscure. Best music. Cancel me.
Expedition 33, Toma Otoa for Ghost of Yote, and Woodkid and Ludwig Forsell for Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. The best
I mean, come on. Come on. Expedition 33. Easy clap. Easy clap. Cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me.
audio design nominees are Battlefield 6,
Ooh,
Claire Obscure
they do have really good like technical audio design, and that is not an easy game to get it done in too. Like with the destruction physics and everything, having audio be interpretable. To be clear, this does not include RedSec. RedSec's audio is ass, but the base game is very good. Expedition 33 also very well done.
Expedition 33,
I actually, dude, I did see one guy, I think it was a TikTok or something, where he had replaced all of his phone notifications with Renoir's cane. You know, when he walks in, it's whenever it sits down. And dude, he shows himself like out in public and he has like the volume maxed out. And so he gets a text and it's like so dramatic. It actually kind of made me jealous. I might have to do that myself. But yeah, the sound design is great.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, and Silent Hill
Was Arc Raiders past the cutoff? No, because it's nominated for something. Because it also has fantastic sound design too.
F. Best Adaptation was added to the Game Awards in 2022 to recognize an outstanding show, movie, or other creative work inspired by and based on an established video game world. Here are this year's nominees for Best Adaptation.
Okay.
A Minecraft movie, Devil May
Sorry. Sorry.
Cry, Splinter Cell Deathwatch, The Last of Us Season 2,
He said the thing. He made me do this. He made me do this. I'm gonna be a dad. Hey, you know what? Easy clap. It has to win. There you go.
And Until Dawn. For Best Narrative, the outstanding nominees are...
Wait, but like, honest question. Which of these win, man? Minecraft movie? I will say, I don't think it was a movie made for me. But I will say, the young tweens or whatever that went to see it seemed to have a great time with the chicken jockey stuff. I'm sure we've all seen the clips of like the kids throwing popcorn and like they had a great time. They had a great time. So maybe it does deserve the adaptation award because they clearly adapted it well enough that the like core fans enjoyed it. So that should count for something. Where's the Fallout show? That was last year, dude. That was last year. Right? I think it was April of last year, or I think it was last year. Season 2 comes out this year, but after the cutoff. So you can't really nominate best adaptation for something that hasn't released yet, you know? Doesn't really work that way. They're like, we're just going to get ahead of the curve and give Game of the Year to GTA 6. Just get ahead of the curve. Yeah. Yeah, cancel me. I don't care. Yeah, cancel me.
Minecraft Movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell Death Watch, The Last of Us Season 2.
I'm sorry. The Last of Us Season 2 has got to be studied. It's like Witcher Netflix levels of what are we doing? It really is heartbreaking because the first season was so good, and then I feel like the second season is just one gigantic cluster. Like it's just tonally all over the place. That's my problem. If you're gonna change characters and change the story, go one direction but stick to it. The problem is, like, within The Last of Us Part 2 or Season 2, it feels like each episode director had a different idea of who the characters should be and what they were doing, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. And some of the decisions, whether they're acting decisions or their writing direction decisions, the ways that they changed, like Ellie, for example, totally kills the tension. And like the big moment with Mel and everything, they turn into an accident. It's just across the board. It's yeah. Anyway,
Until Dawn.
Continuing, I could ramble about that for hours, as I have. You guys know all too well.
Best Narrative, the outstanding nominees
Okay, best narrative. I don't actually know who was nominated for this. I'm gonna guess it's Expedition. I hope it's KCD2. I'm guessing they nominated Death Stranding for some reason. Hades 2. And what would be a fourth nominee? Ghost of Yote they probably nominated. And what would be number 6? Some small indie game I haven't heard of.
Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2,
Yep.
On the Beach, Ghost of Yote,
Dude, I'm so good.
Come
Dude, I'm
Deliverance
so
2,
good.
and Silent Hill.
Okay, not really an indie game. Okay. These are fair. Death Stranding 2, personally, I feel like if people have to Google what the story is about after playing it, it probably is not. Like, I love Kojima for broad strokes ideas. My frustration is that he, in an attempt to dazzle us with his brilliance, he tends to baffle us with bullshit. And I feel like there's a difference between mystery and intrigue and confusion and doubt. And I feel like often a lot of his stories are filled with just like the weirdest thing he can think of. And then that's presented as though it's supposed to be profound when it really is just kind of crazy and weird, you know? And that can still be entertaining, but it doesn't make necessarily for a well-communicated or efficiently communicated story, you know? I was talking to a buddy of mine who played Death Stranding 2 as well. And he was like, I still am not really sure what the game's about. He's like, I know that like all the stuff with Lou and like of course broad strokes, but like the minutia, he's like it's kind of a blur. Which fair.
F.
Counterpoint Fanning's feet. Mr. How dare you? I mean, I'm sure Kojima agrees with you, but like, come on. Come on. Continuing.
Best community support celebrates game developers who continually and transparently engage, support, and respond to their players.
Okay.
This year's nominees are Baldur's Gate.
Oh, I guess I should go back just retroactively. Having played Dispatch, I would absolutely put Dispatch in the best narrative category. I'd personally swap out either Silent Hill or Death Stranding for that. And I would also personally, I might even toss in Split Fiction instead of Silent Hill, personally. Cancel me. Do what you're gonna do.
3. Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I mean,
Your
all of those are fair.
nominees for Games for Impact are
I'm sorry, this Games for Impact. I understand what they're trying to do with the category. They're trying to celebrate games that aren't necessarily good, they're important. I get that. But I feel like if a game has impact, it's going to be nominated for like Game of the Year, you know? Like the game with the most impact is probably the one that's winning Game of the Year, you know? So as a category, it just seems like this, like, let's pat ourselves on the back for recognizing these games nobody's ever heard of. It's just kind of weird.
Consume Me, Despelote,
Hold on. I kind of want to look these up. Okay, so this one was Consume Me. Has anybody in chat played this game? Like literally anybody in chat. I want to know. Because maybe these are really good and I just haven't heard of them. Did you feel stupid, fat, lazy, and ugly in high school? Well, I did. But at least I made a life simulation about it. I mean, I would just say if I wanted to feel fat and lazy, I would just hang out, but that's just me, I guess. What was the other one? Games for Impact. I actually skipped
Games for Impact are
okay.
Consume Me,
Despelote. Do you think it's like Despacito? Despelote. A slice of life adventure about childhood and the magical grip soccer held over the people of Quito, Ecuador in 2001. This is a bitrate's worst nightmare. Again, I want to be clear. They've made a video game. That's more than I've ever done. And that deserves credit. They're more talented than me. Nobody's doubting that.
Despelote, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage,
Lost Records, I've heard of that one. South of Midnight. But like, I guess
South
what's
of
the
Midnight,
impact?
and Wonderstop.
Wonderstop is unironically kind of fun. If you haven't tried that one, it's a good like Steam Deck game where you like make tea and stuff. It's very cute. Show like the here. It's very cute. It's very cute. It's a vibe. It's a good relaxation game. So this one I think is like I've heard of that one. But again, I guess I just wonder what impact means. Cause like what's the impact of like South of Midnight or Lost Records? You know? Like what are we doing? Did I complete Dispatch? Hell yeah, I did. Freaking love it. I'd say I would argue that like games with impact, a game that had a lot of impact would be like an Expedition 33, showing that a small team, when they escape corporate oppression, they can get out there and make something phenomenal. Or a game like Dispatch. That is a formula of game that used to be prevalent and common back in like 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. It used to be really, really popular. And then Telltale collapsed and everybody thought the episodic narrative choose your own adventure game was kind of dead. But then they just showed, no, it's very much live. You can do it well, modernize it, and people still want it. I'd say that's a pretty big impact, but I don't think we're using the same definition. Like I said, usually games for impact, it just kind of turns into like games you haven't heard of that make the Game Awards feel like they're supporting important games. It's not good. It's important.
Records Bloom and Rage, South of
Which, like, who cares? It's an award at a game show, but it is just funny to me that they still have these categories and everybody's like, okay.
Midnight and Wonder Stop.
Oh, my lungs.
The category of Best Multiplayer, the nominees are Arc Raiders.
Fair. I'm sure Shroud is very happy to see this, and I'm happy to see it too. Arc Raiders genuinely is fantastic. It's still reaching new player count peaks, like 2 weeks after launch. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. And talk about games for impact. This also, dude, this game is going head to head with Call of Duty on Steam. It's actually outperforming Call of Duty on Steam. I get it. Oh, Luke, well, it's also on Game Pass and it's also on all these other services like Battle.net. Sure. Steam is the largest marketplace on all of PC gaming. It's like the big hub. And I'm sorry, I thought Call of Duty was supposed to be like the biggest game ever. Like every year. And Arc Raiders just casually is like competing with it. It's crazy. Arc Raiders very much deserves a lot of credit, and I'm glad it's getting nominated. And I personally expect it to win.
Battlefield 6, Elden Ring Night Reign, Peak, and Split Fiction.
I guess Split Fiction is technically multiplayer, but I think Arc Raiders takes it. Personally, cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me.
Best
Night Rain. I know a lot of people who like Night Rain. Love it. I actually have just recently tried for the first time Elden Ring Seamless Co-op with my buddy Corey, and dude, it's fire. It's fire. The Seamless Co-op mod, it works really well, and it like allows each player to have their own Estus, their own build. Everything is unique for each player. Their own runes, everything. It's very, very good. Night Rain is similar to that, but dude, if you are like, I like Night Rain, but I specifically love the exploration and excitement of like discovery in Elden Ring. Get a buddy, install the Seamless Co-op mod for Elden Ring on PC. Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome and free if you already own Elden Ring. Recommend it.
Independent Game celebrates games with a high degree of risk tolerance, produced outside the traditional publisher system. Those nominees are...
See, but even this, okay, so just to understand his definition.
Game celebrates games with a high degree of risk tolerance, produced outside the traditional publisher system.
Is that the definition of an independent game, of indie game? Like risk tolerance?
Those nominees.
I feel like when people hear indie game, they think small studio outside of a major publisher or company. A game with high risk tolerance, if anything, like that would mean that games like, I don't know, really any multiplayer game, like Concord is an indie game. It's like, no, that doesn't seem to fit. It's within a traditional publisher in that case, but like if it was from an outside company but being published by PlayStation, it could still be nominated. Is that what we mean? Like independently funded? Yeah, I think that's also partially what people think. I think so. Ismail, I think this year's awards are very predictable, and I think gamers are going to care more about the New World
Ismail
premieres than the results.
Hamzawi donated 200.
I think that's always
Norwegian
true.
kroner for Super
Like,
Chat.
honestly, the Game Awards, it's mostly about the new reveals and world premiere. So I think that's true. Some years it's more like a head-to-head, like 2015, The Witcher 3 versus Fallout 4. That's a moment everybody was like tuned in on. Or back in 2022 with like Elden Ring, people were really in for that. Or 2018, Red Dead 2 versus God of War reboot. Those were like big moments. But with this year, I do think there will be a big moment when they announce Game of the Year, because right now it's seemingly, realistically, I think it's between Expedition 33, the Nintendo fanboys with Donkey Kong, and KCD 2. I think those are the three. Silk Song, maybe to a lesser degree, but I think those are the three big ones, like, that will be competing for it. I still think Expedition 33 probably is the front runner to win it, maybe at like 65% likelihood, and then there's like 20% of KCD 2, and then there's like 15% of other stuff. Hades 2? No, I think Hades 2 is good, but I think, like, is it getting anywhere near the buzz from the people that are in the jury? I personally don't think so. I still think all of the attention is centered around Expedition. And again, never doubt the power of Nintendo fanboys. Never doubt the power of it. People who love games like Donkey Kong are probably not playing a lot of games like KCD 2 and Expedition 33. They're playing like collectathon platformer things, and they're just very, very different games. Anyway,
Absolem, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
maybe I'm just misremembering this, but isn't Hades 2 who publishes Hades 2? Is it just Supergiant? Yeah, I guess it's Supergiant. I guess because they have such a close relationship with Xbox, or at least have in the past with like the Game Pass integrations, I just assumed that they were a lot bigger, but technically they're self-published. So, okay. And then Expedition 33, that one, ooh, it's 20% off. Wow. That was published by Kepler, and Kepler, oh, they did Cat Quest. I guess they're technically a smaller publisher. Pacific Drive, Sifu, Flintlock, Rematch. So they published a good variety of stuff, I guess. Still, like, they're a larger publisher. So I guess, again, on technicalities, okay. But, you know, it's technicalities. It feels weird. Like, Expedition had a lot of support behind it. It still is a phenomenal triumph, and they deserve all that credit. But I don't think of Expedition 33 in the same way as I think of, like, again, a small indie game.
Best debut indie game recognizes a development team.
Well, Dispatch, again, Scar, Dispatch was past the cutoff, so Dispatch couldn't qualify. It's why Indiana Jones is being nominated for stuff this year, because it was past the cutoff for last year. KCD 2 is an indie. I think their publisher is technically considered like big. Because their publisher is Deep Silver, and Deep Silver did like Dead Island 2, Metro Exodus, Saints Row, Undisputed, Beyond Contact, Windbound. Like they've done a ton of stuff, like even some pretty big stuff. So I think that they were considered a major publisher. But that's the thing, is like, where's the cutoff? Like, what's a big publisher? What's a small publisher? KCD 2 is AA. I think that that's why, like, what people mean when they say AA is that it's not published by Microsoft or PlayStation or Ubisoft or EA. It's not published by one of the big guys, but it's still published and supported by like a larger company. It's not like a team of 12 people working in a basement, which is what I think most people think of when they think of indie. But anyway.
Team that hasn't won a game award before. In fact, these teams published their first game this year.
Debut
the
indie.
nominees are Blueprints,
Yep.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33,
That's fair.
Despelote, Dispatch, and
Wait, so Dispatch was not past the cutoff? So I apologize to everybody who's been watching the stream clip and is like, what the hell is going on? Luke, it's not past the cutoff. So it okay, this changes things. Jeffrey. You're going to tell me that Silent Hill F had a more compelling narrative than Dispatch? You're telling me that we could have nominated Aaron Paul for best performance? Jeffrey. Okay. Now you can cancel me. Officially. That's crazy. I thought this whole time we're going through this whole thing like, well, that makes sense because Dispatch was past the cutoff. Dude, I did not know that. Okay. You guys should have been making fun of me more in chat about it. Or you're just waiting for the moment where it's revealed. Yeah, Dispatch. I think Dispatch deserves a nomination for best audio design. Personally, the audio design is phenomenal. I think they deserve a nomination for best narrative. I think probably over Silent Hill F or Death Stranding or Ghost of Yotei. Personally, Ghost of Yotei, it is a very, very predictable story. I think every plot twist that came up, I saw coming a mile away, as I think most people did because they were signaled pretty hardcore. I just think Dispatch is way, way better. Honestly, best score, it could also be nominated, but I could give a little leeway on that. I probably again put it over Ghost of Yotei. Again, Yotei I really like. It's just Dispatch is great.
99 dirhams through Super Chat. I still don't know how Mafia: The Old Country isn't nominated for anything this year. The game was great.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just one of those games that's pretty good, pretty damn good. But when you're in a field with very good, you just miss the cutoff, you know? And given its price point, given its development schedule, its development, everything, it's amazing that it turned out as well as it did. And I think it deserves credit for that. But when we're looking at like best narrative, I can understand why it maybe didn't quite get the, meet the muster. When we're talking about best like music, I can understand why it gets kind of edged out by some of this other stuff. Still very good, but it's one of those games that doesn't exist that commonly anymore. Like it's a solid B- game. And a lot of those games don't end up being successful or working out because they charge $70 for it and then they're confused when nobody bought it because everything else on the market is like an A- and is just as much or cheaper, But they did a good job of pricing it at 50, so it allowed people to justify going into it, even if it wasn't going to be as good as the masterpieces that were dropping throughout this year. But I think that this is it still deserves recognition. It just isn't quite on that level, But man, knowing that Dispatch could have been nominated for any of these, like again, Konatsu did a good job. Erica did a good job. Personally, this is all I can represent is my personal feelings. Personally, I'd put Tom McKay and I'd put probably Aaron Paul up there. Aaron Paul or Laura Bailey for Invisigal.
I_take_yokes donated $3. Why did the game developer bring a broom to the Game Awards? He wanted to sweep every category.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. It's stupid, but that was funny. I'll give you that. That was funny. Oh my god. Anyway, Jeffrey, I'm upset about this. I didn't know that Dispatch was qualified to actually be nominated, and now I am triggered. Officially, cancel me. I don't care. So there we go. Yeah, knowing Dispatch was in the running, that now, I mean, retroactively, there's like 3 or 4 categories I would have nominated it for. It really is that good. If you've not played Dispatch, go play Dispatch. All the episodes are out. It's very good. It's very, very good. Continuing.
And Megabonk. For best
Sorry, Jeffrey, what was that? Jeffrey, did you hear that? Just imagine his face. Close your eyes and imagine his face when he says this.
Prince, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, Despilote, Dispatch, and Megabonk. For best VR AR game, the nominees are Alien Rogue Incursion, Arkan Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk.
Midnight Walk, I can't talk. I've actually not tried that in VR. I've tried it traditionally. but I could see how it could be very good in VR. Very
For
spoopy.
Content Creator of the Year, the nominees are
Burn Peanut?
Pedro,
I have no idea who that is. Does anybody? Am I not plugged in? I have no idea who that is.
Kai Cenat,
Kai, his recent subathon, I have never seen the internet turn on somebody so quickly as when he was doing the subathon, and everybody started calling it Begathon, because it was like, guys, you gotta get me 5 more subs to make the stream last 15 more seconds, and then we'll get a 50 bomb, and we'll do this. Like, I would not be surprised if a lot of those subs were gifted either by sponsored partners or literally by like managers and stuff to just keep it going. It was weird. Yeah, a millionaire begging for money. But yeah, there's nothing more cringe than that. I understand it's fun, and to be fair, he does crazy stuff on stream, like invests wildly in his stream. He is not one of those content creators that just sits in his chair reacting to movies and TV shows. You know, like there was one streamer a couple years ago who literally watched an entire season of Hell's Kitchen, and I think they said that for like 35% of his react, he wasn't even sitting in the chair. Which I have not verified that myself, but I buy it. He's not one of those guys. Okay, he's doing crazy stuff.
Moist Critical, Sakura Miko,
Dude, I have no idea. Moist Critical, I feel like Moist Critical is that makes sense. He was in a very successful game. He's still putting out stuff that gets seen by a bajillion people a day.
Luna1302 donated 10
You know?
euros through Super Chat. Do you think they will push back the nominees announcement later next year with GTA 6 being delayed to late November?
I had not considered that, but they might. I had not thought about that. That's interesting, Lunar. I had not thought about that, but yeah, I think they almost certainly have to push it back far enough to allow GTA 6 to be nominated. Because can you imagine the meltdown if they hold the Game Awards and they can't nominate GTA 6? That would be very, very funny. So yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I bet they would have to delay it. Good point.
and the Burnt Peanut.
The Burnt Peanut, dude. I've actually seen a lot of clips of this guy. I actually wonder, do I have one I can upload? I might because he is legitimately very, very funny.
Shazam donated $10 through Super
He's my
Chat.
favorite.
I love Dispatch, but think this is more of an award show structure issue than voter issue. Nominations likely closed before release of last Dispatch chapters. Oscar nominations are months after cutoffs.
Yeah, well, and my curiosity is if they did the nominations, like did they have everybody vote on the same day? Like, I just wonder how that works. Let me show you a clip of Burnt Peanut real quick, just so you understand why he's been nominated. This is him playing Arc Raiders. He's very funny.
No, the time for talk is over! Now is the time for action! Make peace with your god, motherfucker! Cause you're seeing him!
Oh, come on, Discord. Don't do this to me. Discord. Come on. Unbelievable. Oh, now it's like glitching out. Dude, come on. Can I just send it again? The most important video we've ever watched on this stream. And Discord craps out a third of the way through.
Right now!
Here we go.
Charge, brother!
Now it loads.
Cause you're seeing him right now! Charge, brothers! Take no prisoner! Show no mercy! Yield none!
Okay, wait for it.
my child. Shush, my child. It's all okay now. Shush, my child. It's all okay now. Shh. It's all okay. Shh. No, I've got something better. Got something better.
What? No.
You're gonna go to a big farm. You're gonna go to a big farm, and all your friends are gonna be there. You're gonna run around forever.
No.
You're gonna go to a big farm, and it's gonna be big. You can run around as long as you want. You can run away free forever. All your friends are gonna be there.
Somebody help!
Yeah, he's a vibe. He's a vibe. I recommend it. Go watch Burnt Peanut. He's a good time. He's a good time. Okay. Continuing. I also love the picture that they got of him. That's pretty good. Real quick, thank you, Cindy Y, for the 5 gifted memberships. Very, very generous. And thank you, Jimbo, for re-upping. Yeah, he's hilarious and blew up this year. He also got nominated for VTuber of the Year on the Streamies. It will be funny to see his reaction. Dude, it's pretty funny. I'd be happy if he won. He's genuinely hilarious. Continuing. Oh, whoops.
Awards is looking forward to what's next. And don't worry, we'll have lots of games to announce for you on December 11th. But what's the most anticipated upcoming game?
Witcher 4.
Here are the nominees based on currently announced titles. 007 First
Oh,
Light,
okay.
Grand Theft Auto 6,
Yeah, okay. Well, I came out swinging with Witcher 4. Yeah, but these all make sense.
Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem,
Okay.
and The Witcher 4.
Yeah, easy
The
clap.
best action adventure
You're telling me Elder Scrolls 6 is not on the list? Todd? I'm sorry. Toddathy?
game nominees are
Action
Death Stranding
adventure,
2
okay.
On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction.
I guess my brain always goes, well, do you have an adventure? And therefore it's an adventure game. So I'm like, oh, where's Expedition? Where's KCD2? But I understand that they may not fit. They're more RPGs, you know? They're more RPGs, so they probably don't fit in this category. So those are fair.
For best role-playing game, the
Yeah,
jury
buddy.
selected
Lightweight.
Avowed, Clara
I like Avowed when it works and doesn't break my PC. I like Avowed, but this is, you know that meme we saw earlier where it was like literally Expedition 33 in the indie category and it was Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. That's kind of what this feels like. It's just like you're going head to head against Expedition 33 and KCD2, man. That's going to be a tough battle.
Obscure Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and
This is where definitions are important. You know?
And-
Like, I understand Outer Worlds 2, really? Okay. Good job for Obsidian. 2 RPGs in the same year nominated for best role-playing game. That's pretty poggers. But, I mean, I guess they mean that it's kind of like an ARPG, action RPG, where you can choose your build and customize your loadout and your armor and your weapons, and therefore Monster Hunter is basically an ARPG. But to me, it just feels wrong. To me, when I hear role-playing game, I think of like playing a role within a story. So it's like nominating Diablo for best role-playing game. And I'm like, what? What are we doing? What? It just feels off. Feels off, you know, feels off. But I get it. It just feels off. Skill tree equals RPG these days. Yeah, Loki. I think that personally, and it's true of Expedition 33 as well. Like Expedition 33 is not a branching narrative type game. It has a lot of character customization and it's more ARPG than anything else. But I think I would still give this to KCD2. Just as far as role-playing games are concerned, it is one of the most immersive that you'll ever play.
The Outer Worlds 2. In the category of Best Fighting Game, the nominees are 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage.
I'm going to need somebody who knows what they're talking about to tell me which of those is best. Have any of you guys seen or played those? Which one is good? I don't do fighting games. I'm not good at them, and because I'm not good at them, I never play any of them. And I never play of them, so I never get good at any of them, so it just kind of spins. Virtua Fighter's good. Virtua Fighter, okay. Yeah. My community is not big into fighting games, if you can't tell based on the comments.
The nominees for Best Action Game are Battlefield 6,
Okay.
Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
I guess. Well, they put Battlefield 6. I'm like, why doesn't Arc Raiders get tossed in here? Because it's also action, and so I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just single player. But Battlefield 6 is multiplayer, so it could also be nominated. I think you'd have to toss Arc Raiders in here, but
Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4,
I'm surprised to see
and
Doom nominated.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Arc Raiders is a stealth game. If you play it that way, the way I play, it's a lot of action, mainly shoved in my face by arcs, but still, lots of action.
Innovation and accessibility celebrates games that are making our industry available and enjoyable to more people. The nominees for innovation and accessibility are
Assassin's Creed Shadows,
says the pig. I can imagine people getting triggered that it's been nominated for something. It does have a lot of cool accessibility options, to be clear, which is literally what the award is.
Atomfall,
I don't actually know about Atomfall.
Doom the Dark Ages.
They did
EA
have some
Sports
stuff.
FC 26
You can now pay with PayPal or a credit card.
and
Very
Zelda
accessible.
Midnight. Next up, Best Family Game.
Okay.
The nominees are Donkey Kong Bonanza,
Okay.
Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction.
It's gonna be Mario or Mario Kart. I mean, surely. Like, there's no way that it's anything but Mario Kart.
The Best Sim Strategy Game nominees are
Okay.
The Alters,
Oh, dude, The Alters is fire. If you've not played The Alters, you should. It's not that long. It's super. It's hard to even describe, but it is a vibe, man. It's very good, and it's a good handheld game too. Like if you have an ROG Ally or something, Alters is very good.
Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3.
I've heard people like
Sid
that.
Meier's Civilization 7.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I've tried Civilization 7. Civ 5 is still better. Go ahead, cancel me. I don't care. Cancel me. I don't care. Do whatever you're gonna do. Civilization 7. It's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just too deep in like old school Civ 5 gameplay. I've played it for so long that there's no way that I'll ever feel good about the newer ones. But dude, Civ 7, there's just so many weird things. Like they got rid of workers. They got rid of a lot of the like diplomacy stuff that used to be in the game. And so now it's just, they dumbed it down. And I think what it is they built it so that it could be later easily ported to like mobile. And so all of the complex UI, all of the navigating menus to do more complicated tasks, all of that has been cut out. It's really annoying. Why not Anno 117? Dude, I would have liked to see Anno there. It's certainly above Civ 7. It's not that like, I love Civ. I understand they are fighting an uphill battle because every time you do any new game, you're going to have to change stuff. Otherwise, it just feels like the same game all over again, which will upset people. So you try to do something different, but everybody's put so many hours into the old game that any change is going to feel bad and icky. So I understand they are fighting an uphill battle with Civ 7. Nobody's denying that. I just personally greatly prefer Civ 5, even still. Civ 6, I think, is a good step. Like, there's reasons to play Civ 6 over Civ 5 for a lot of people, especially in the modern day, because they did improve some stuff. But Civ 7, to me, just felt so dumbed down. But Anyway, that's just me. Cancel me. Do what you're gonna do.
Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. These games are nominated for Best Sports Racing Game. EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Now
And again, it's got to be Mario Kart, like surely. Rematch. I like Rematch. Rematch is fun. I played it with my brothers, and it was a good time. But it's one of those games, at least for me, you play for like a grand total of 5 hours, then you're like, you know? Sorry, my lungs are rebelling.
Donated $10 through Super Chat. I'm not bothered by things like body A or B, but it's clear that if a game appeals to inclusivity in any way, it's getting nominated for something, whether it's really that good or not.
Is that true though? Because I feel like there's a good number of games. Like, remember they were going after, like, Grums and his crew were going after Monster Hunter World for like a week before they gave up on it. And that ended up selling crazy well, and that's not nominated for anything. You know, it's the question of correlation versus causation, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe that's the checklist, but it seems to me more like the most popular pop culture games are the ones that get nominated and win awards over like the niche stuff.
Nominees in our 3 esports categories, starting with Best Esports Game. The nominees are Counter-Strike 2,
Cap.
Dota 2,
Cap.
League of Legends, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Valorant.
No way that's a real game. Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It's, bro, what? Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Is this like a translation thing where it's like a Chinese game, but translated to English, it's called Bang Bang? Is this, okay. Mobile Legends Bang Bang. I'm out of the loop, man. Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Okay, well, there you go.
The nominees for Best Esports Athlete are Brock, Chovy, Forsaken, Kakaru, Mena RD, and Zywoo.
It's Mena RD? Menad? Mena RD? Okay. I understand what they do is very impressive, but it always makes me just kind of chuckle when I hear Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. Best Esports Athlete.
Chovy, Forsaken,
It's just funny to me.
Kakaru.
Like, I love chess. I love competitive chess. If you called like the grandmasters going up to play in the candidates tournament, if you called them athletes, I think they would even laugh at you too. You know, it'd be like, we're professional chess players. We're very good at what we do. Athletes, really? Okay. You know, it's just funny.
Mena RD and Zywoo. And for Best Esports Team, our Special Esports Committee nominated these teams.
Because no one else has any idea what these are.
Gen G League of Legends, NRG Valorant, Team Falcons Dota 2, Team Liquid PH Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and Team Vitality.
Is that a chemistry joke?
Okay, we're almost
Team
done,
Liquid
but there are
PH?
still 2 very important categories to go. First, Best Game Direction recognizes outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
This one legitimately is one of my favorite categories, just because I think it's important to recognize very, very, visionaries, people who did things even when everybody else was like, that's not going to work. And I love the idea that there are some games that don't make sense, but that end up being fantastic. You know, like I've said this before. We just said it the other day about Red Dead 2. Like, you're talking about a game where you're playing as a cowboy in a vast open world. Things are very slow. There is technically fast travel in the game, but it's like very rarely used. A lot of people don't even realize there was fast travel because they never used it. So it's a very slow moving, immersive sandbox game. And then halfway through you get tuberculosis and then your character dies. It's not like that. It's a crazy idea for a game because on paper it shouldn't work. Like the meta of open world adventure games doesn't really follow in that vein, you know, but it ended up working phenomenally well. Same thing with like KCD2, an immersive medieval RPG where like NPCs react to you poorly if you haven't bathed long enough, and then you can starve to death, and you can also overeat. You get plastered drunk. If you commit enough crimes, they'll just execute you in the streets. It's like very, very crazy. Like, but it works. It works. Dude, spoilers. Bro, it's at this point almost like we're going on 8 years old. I feel like it's fair. If you don't know about Red Dead 2 at this point, you don't deserve to know about it, you know. Unless you're like 4 years old.
Nominees are Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Yeah, that one, I think especially, that took vision. And it's also a really cool combination of a lot of old school design philosophies from like 90s RPGs that have since been forgotten, like the overworld that's very, very rarely used in RPGs nowadays, but they used it in this and it works really well. They also, you know, of course, combine turn-based with real-time parrying and stuff straight out of Sekiro. Very, very good. I mean, it's just a lot of really clever ideas that all meld together perfectly. It's really well done.
Death Stranding 2.
Death Stranding 2, I actually would say I actively dislike the direction in this one because I feel like some of the most basic directorial choices, like the deliveries that center around vehicles, actively make the game significantly worse than the game we already got, which was like the template for this one. So I feel like the changes made in Death Stranding 2 actually made it worse than the first game in certain ways. So I disagree with this one personally.
On the Beach. Ghost of Yote.
Ghost of Yeti personally, like, again, it's a refinement. So I feel like it's again an improvement over the basic formula of the first game, but it's not like I would give best game direction to Ghost of Tsushima for the vision of the formula. A refinement of the formula I don't think takes as much risk or boldness in the same way. I'm gonna say it again. Dispatch.
Hades 2.
Hades 2, that's probably fair. I mean, they do enough stuff, they shake it up. But it's a similar thing. It's a refinement of the formula.
And Split Fiction.
Split Fiction, absolutely. I think that's fair. But I would toss I think I'd toss Dispatch in there.
And now it's the big one. Goaty.
Refinement or derivative? I think all refinements are by nature derivative because it has to be a refinement of something else, right? So, yes. But that doesn't mean the game is bad. It's just, for me, it's like, it's the same reason why I don't like the idea of like Game of the Year going to a remake. Because I'm like, it's redoing something somebody else already did, or maybe you did, but like it's redoing something that was already great, and then you're reworking it into this way. You know, like it doesn't feel like that should win Game of the Year against other new stuff. Yeah, it's like double dipping. You know, yeah. For those who sweep after, that's funny. Excuse me. But that's the same reason why I feel like a game director award when it's a sequel to something that was already lauded and awarded for being visionary. It's like, okay, well, it's just a refinement. It's a polishing of that amazing thing somebody did 5-6 years ago, you know. It just feels weird to me. It's the same reason, to be consistent, I think it's fair to say that like best game direction for KCD 2, I don't think I'd give it to KCD 2 over like Expedition 33, because Expedition 33 was doing something completely new. So I wouldn't give like best game direction to KCD 2 over Expedition 33 because it's a refinement of the formula from the first game. Does that track? That make sense?
Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers.
Do I consider Spicy Nuggets a remake? More of a remaster, frankly. If it's like boneless versus bone in, then I think you could argue for remake, but yeah, more of a remaster.
Delivers the absolute best experience to players across all creative and technical fields. For this year's awards, our global TGA jury has selected the following 6 games as the nominees for Game of the Year. Flare Obscure Expedition 33 from Sandfall Interactive.
Fair.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach from Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Bonanza from Nintendo.
Nintendo always shows up.
Hades 2 from Supergiant Games.
Okay.
Hollow Knight Silk Song from Team Cherry.
Fair.
And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 from Warhorse Studios.
I was trying not to will it into the universe, but I was genuinely worried that they would drop K-City 2 off the list. Because again, the people voting on this are like the jury members from like big journalistic outlets who they like certain types of games and they don't like other types of games. They like certain types of stories and studios and they don't like others. And so I thought if anything was going to get dropped off the list, it would be K-City 2. I did not think Hades 2 would land on the list. I think my initial prediction was that it was going to be Split Fiction there instead of Hades 2. But Hades 2 is very, very good. Again, as for Dispatch being Game of the Year, that one has always been weird for me because I think there's a certain threshold of like gamification that's necessary to be considered for Game of the Year. Like if your game is very much a visual novel or an interactive novel kind of game, I think getting nominated for best narrative, for best role-playing, storytelling, whatever, that I think is fair. But best Game of the Year, I feel like there's a certain gameplay minimum that you need to hit to achieve that. And that's going to be up to the, individuals to decide if Dispatch meets that threshold. It's certainly like plays second fiddle to the phenomenal story and performances in that game. But I think honestly all of these nominations totally fair. They all make sense. Everybody should play all the games that are nominated for Game of the Year. They're all good. I'm just really glad that K-City 2 actually got the nomination because I was worried that they'd drop them.
There you have it, your nominees for Game of the
Euro
Year.
gamers
And now that those are
literally
official, you can
downstairs
anticipate
crying right
Lauren
now.
Bell from the Game Awards Orchestra playing their themes as part of our musical salute to the nominees live on December 11th. But before that, we need your help to decide which nominees become the winners. Make sure to head to thegameawards.com to cast your...
Once the website's working, go to the website and vote. I think it's just been such a good year, which is, again, it's just, I know it's easy to go, robbed, but like, honestly, any one of these, it's like, yeah, they're all very good. Again, I did not realize Dispatch could be nominated. Wherever it was, somewhere back here. I didn't realize that Dispatch could be nominated. I thought it was past the cutoff. So I would have tossed Dispatch into a couple of these categories because it's so good. And I probably would have tossed in, again, Aaron Paul, and I think Laura Bailey was also fantastic as Investigal. But other than those, like Troy Baker, he makes it look easy, dude. He's just casually is perfectly imitating Harrison Ford from 45 years ago or whatever it is, and it's like totally believable. Like it's outrageous. He's just that good. He's just that good. Corey Barlog, the man, the myth, the legend, says Expedition 33 was just such a good game. So many great games in the last two categories, but Expedition 33 is just brilliant. Well, I think, who was it? There was, I forget who it was. Somebody in chat remind me, but there was a streamer, I think it was, who said that Arc Raiders, phenomenal game, and it'll be talked about for like a year, but Expedition 33 is a game people will be talking about in 10 years or 20 years. Like that's a generationally great game. Was it Shroud? I think Shroud was saying the opposite. He was saying Arc Raiders should win it. Was it Shroud who was saying it? Oh, was it Asmongold? Forgive me, whoever said it. But I thought it was profoundly true. I think Expedition 33 is one of those generationally great games that people look back on in 10 years and are like, oh my God, that was so good. And Arc Raiders, I think, is a great game for this year and for this era of online games. But Expedition 33 is one of those games that's going to be designed off of, and people are going to be saying that's my inspiration for this, and like I think that's going to be a major major inspiration for games like in the next 5 years. You know how we have a bunch of games that are kind of inspired by like Tarkov, all of these extraction shooters, because Tarkov's really good, and so people are like, oh, I want to do something like that, and they kind of take that idea and they do their own spin on it. I think that exact same thing is going to happen with Expedition 33. We're probably in like 5 years or so, you're going to see a bunch of indie and AA and even some AAA attempts at that formula of, you know, an immersive story-based RPG with turn-based combat, and it's got real-time combat elements too, and it has an overworld. I think a lot of games are going to start to try and attempt that formula, which I'm okay with, because the formula clearly it's pretty damn good. So I'm not complaining, but I think that's the difference. Is it's one of those games that just changes things. Talk about impact. Like, it's a game with a significant impact on the industry. The Witcher 3 comes out. You see tons of different games changing how they are designed to try and mimic what they achieved there. In a very profound and good way. Like, of course, after The Witcher 3 came out, even Assassin's Creed. I remember hearing an interview with Ashraf Ismail, the game director of AC Origins, which was the game that they were doing to like really rework the entire formula for Assassin's Creed. And I think what happened was everybody saw The Witcher and was like, we want to try something like that. So they took that formula and they tried to do their own thing. And I remember hearing Ashraf say, we want every quest, every gameplay objective in the game to have a story associated with it. Everything should have a story. Could be small, but like if you're sent to go fetch five fur for a crafting task, we're not just going to send you to do that. It's not just going to be a pop-up. There will be a story associated with it. There will be a character who needs it or says why you need it, and there will be a story associated with that thing. And that was a direct inspiration from The Witcher 3's design philosophy. And I think a lot of those same things are going to happen with Expedition 33, where a lot of other publishers and studios are going to be like, let's try some of that stuff too, you know? And I think it deserves all of the praise and laudations it's receiving, because it is just genuinely that good. In the same vein, I do think Dispatch will have a similar impact. Dispatch showed that formula that was so popular 10 years ago still works. You just need a little modernizing. You need to crank up the production dials a few places, have some phenomenal voice acting talent, sure. But that works. That works. People like it. People love it. I just was reading, they hit their bull expectation. Well, let me just see if I can find it. Dispatch. Here it is. Dispatch is set to hit its fantasy bull case, which is like optimistic, our best case scenario for sales. Excuse me. They hit their fantasy bull case 3-year sales target in 3 months. And players have gone gaga for its episodic release structure. It worked. And I'm somebody that I've said many times on stream, you guys have heard me, I'm not that into episodic stuff, but I'm realizing it wasn't because episodic stuff by its nature is bad. It's just that episodic fluff and stuff that's set up in an episodic way just to, like, you know, either extend the release calendar so you can crunch your employees to try and finish it in time, or, you know, all the other stuff that happened with Telltale where they were breaking up and selling it as multiple packages and seasons. I didn't like that. But this worked. Me and my wife, like, literally, were scheduling out 2 weeks in advance our Wednesday and Thursday nights so that we could play Dispatch on those nights. And I can't even think of the last time that something like that happened for a video game release, where we were together that excited for it, you know? But it's because it's just that good. So I think Dispatch will also have a major impact. And I mean, they're working on other stuff. The partnership with Critical Role was done because apparently Ad Hoc Studio is going to be working on a game set within the Critical Role like universe, and they're going to be working on that together to put it out, which sounds awesome. And maybe those are the unsung heroes. Critical Role came in and like bankrolled the last push of development to finish the game. They deserve credit for that. Otherwise, we might not have ever seen Dispatch. They might have had to shop it around or something to publishers to try and shove it out the door quickly, and they would have had to sell it at $50 or $60 or something. But no, Critical Role came in, bankrolled it, did this partnership. It's awesome. It's awesome. So I think this will also have impact. But overall, to go back to this, besides Mobile Legends Bang Bang, which I'm sure is also a very good game. I've not personally tried it, as far as I'm aware. But besides that, I think, honestly, the nominations all make sense. I think the one thing that I was not aware of when we started this whole thing was that Dispatch was something that could be considered. And with that in mind, I would put Dispatch in for Best Narrative, and I'd put probably Aaron Paul and or Laura Bailey in for Best Performance somewhere, because they're very, very good. But other than that, I think all of these make sense. I think it's a pretty solid year in terms of what got nominated and how. And I'm just excited, man. I'm excited. It's been a fantastic year of gaming. Next year is also going to be really, really good. I've heard rumblings of some of the stuff that's coming next year that we haven't seen yet. And, oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. So I think it's a good thing to have something like the Game Awards to celebrate a phenomenal year in gaming. And this year I did receive an invitation to go to the Game Awards in LA, I think it is. I politely declined. I plan on, unless something major changes, I plan on co-streaming all of that stuff here with you, which you'll remember I didn't get to do last year because I was actually in New York City trying KCD2 early. It was funny. On the day of the Game Awards last year, it was December 10th, and I had flown from Universal Studios, Florida, straight to New York City while my family flew back home. And excuse me, my lungs are not happy. And I got to New York City. I stayed one night in the hotel. I went straight and walked to the venue where they were doing a game demo where they let us play KCD2 for 7 hours straight from the beginning, just play 7 hours. And then I grabbed my backpack and I headed to the airport straight from there and flew home. And on the flight, they revealed The Witcher 4 at the Game Awards because I was on the plane when it happened, which is just my luck. The 1 year I don't do a co-stream is when they reveal The Witcher 4. So it's just how it works. But this year we'll co-stream it, which probably means nothing will happen. But it's going to be good. Make sure you set your calendars because we'll watch it, check it out. It's going to be awesome. Okay. End of segment. Thank you, Jacob. I have a bunch of these super chats real quick to catch up on. Let me check this out real quick. Try to catch up because you guys have been very generous while I've been rambling incessantly. Okay. Going back, Resident Azaville with the $5 super chat. Are there any games nominated or not nominated that you wish got nominated? Again, Dispatch for narrative and best story, and probably best performances too. Sorry with the 2. Donkey Kong Over Ghost of Yote is crazy, dude. The power of Nintendo. Vet Gamer Brocephus, thank you for the $5 super chat. Truth is, show's rigged from the start. Puts out cigarette dramatically. Krieg Zeus, thank you for the 2, but who actually plays Nintendo stuff? Nintendoites. Yes. Resident as Evil, thank you for the further $2 super chat. Marvel Rivals or Helldivers for best ongoing game. I think if I've got to pick between the two, I'd say Marvel Rivals because the game doesn't crash every like 35 minutes for me. I literally can play like one round of Helldivers before the game crashes. It's just, it needs some love. Needs some TLC, frankly. Hawk, thank you for the 2. Can you convince a dad to buy KCD2? Just a dad. It's one of the most immersive RPGs you'll ever play in your life. It's fantastically well written. It's historically inspired, but it also takes a lot of historical inspiration directly, so it can be historically accurate in a lot of cases. And it's good fun. It's very good fun. You have to meet the game where it is. You have to really settle into it and focus and like immerse yourself in it. But once you do it, it's one of the most immersive and compelling things you'll ever do in your life. It's very good. It's very good. Alex, thank you for the super chat. Oh, I read that one about Expedition 33 grabbing nominations and winning and sweeping. Like I said, I think if it wins Game of the Year, it sweeps everything. It's my prediction. Because I think if it's going to win Game of the Year, enough people will have checked the box for it to be their top choice for pretty much every category it's in, that I think it sweeps. So that would be my expectation. If you watch the show and it's not winning other categories, I think the odds of Game of the Year going to like Silk Song or something, I think the odds of that would skyrocket. If it's not winning the other categories, I think the odds of it winning Game of the Year drop significantly. But I think it's going to carry. I think so. Blake, thank you for the 5. I felt Erica was very 1-0 Ghost. Tom got snubbed. 1-0 Ghost. Do you just mean better, like Jin Sakai was more compelling? I personally just thought that the writing in Ghost of Yote was very linear and predictable. It's a typical revenge story. And when something is predictable, it's easy to kind of zone out. You know, because like when you're driving on a road and it's a road you drive a lot, you kind of tune out. Like, you know, you're driving home and then you kind of look up and pay attention again. And all of a sudden you're like, I got off the highway. I turned right. I turned left. I turned right. I turned left. And I don't remember doing anything. I was on autopilot. You know, I wasn't even processing. That's what happens when you're going through a story you've seen 1,000 times and you're just going through the motions. And I think Yote goes through the motions a lot. And it's just like, been here, done that. It's good, but it's very familiar. And when something is very familiar, it makes it really hard to stay engaged because you just kind of mentally check out. Whereas like KCD2 or an Expedition 33 or even a Death Stranding 2, you never really know what's going to happen. So it keeps you on the edge of your seat, you know? So I think it's more of a writing issue than like an Erica performance issue, but yeah, I see what you mean. Thank you for that one. Was in the hospital for 100 days, self-admitted, and disappeared from following your lives. But good to be back and good to see you're live and well, mate. I'm glad to have you back, my friend. Hopefully all is well. My goodness, 100 days? Jeez. Hopefully you're doing well. We'll try to brighten your day with some gaming discourse. Greek Zeus, thank you for the 2. Sucks you, belittle Despelote, I think is what it is. It's a very nice game. Like I said, I think it's, just because I haven't heard of it does not mean it's a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I just think the category of games for impact is confusing because I think if it truly is about impact, that's going to be games that really changed the industry significantly. And I think that typically will go for like the bigger games. If it's a category for like under-recognized games or something like that, then I think that a game like that is perfectly justified being there. But it's always been weird to me that like a game for impact, they're often games that you haven't heard of or don't know anything about. And that seems to be antithetical to the very point of games for impact. Like if it's a game nobody's heard of, how much impact did it have? You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But I get what you mean. To be clear, I'm not trying to belittle the game. I'm sure it's very good. And like I said at the time, to their credit, they've made a game, which God knows is a lot more than I've ever done. So they deserve a lot more credit for that. Absolutely. Thank you.
PMAC Dance Dude donated $10 through Super Chat. I agree with your takes on Dispatch in particular, but the goatee nods this year are top-notch emo.
They're all very good. I mean, again, the only one I'd probably, it's like we've said, it's like all of them are very good. The only one I probably would drop and swap out is Death Stranding 2, because personally, I felt like it's not as good as the first game. It's still good, still very impressive technically and everything. I just personally, it doesn't hit the same for me. Donkey Kong, I just don't know enough about. Maybe it's fantastic, maybe it's not. But yeah, Split Fiction, I think. I expected Split Fiction to probably be here instead of Hades 2, but Hades 2 being here, totally fair. You know, totally fair. Totally fair. Kino Man Sky, thank you for 25 months. Gee whiz. Do you think Corey is making a game turn-based God of War with Kratos wearing French berets saying, Garçon? It's a great question. Sorry. It would be more like, hold on, can I do this?
Garçon.
That would be funny. I'd play the crap out of that, frankly. I'd buy it. Can you imagine Kratos wearing like the mime outfit from Expedition, and it's the black and white stripes going all the way down. He's got the baguette strapped on his back, the little beret on his bald head.
Garçon. Garçon. Atreus. Garçon.
That'd be fire. I'd play the crap out of that. I'd play the crap out of that. We'll see. I don't know. Corey got real quiet all of a sudden in chat, so maybe you hit the nail on the head there. You never know. Sorry. Ismail, thank you for that super chat again. Saying the awards this year are very predictable. When you have a lot of really good games, it's easy for them to be predictable because it's like, yep. It's like, again, 2018 with it going to God of War and Red Dead 2. It's like, yep, fair. You can't complain. Mr. Beard, thank you for that one. I just realized Where Winds Meet, I've just played Where Winds Meet, and I'm honestly shocked of how good it is. This game is free and still looks better than Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin, I think, was one where they bit off a lot more than they could chew. They did not have the technical tools built out to do an open world game justice, and it held that game back a lot. So, yeah, but Where Winds Meet, very impressive game. It's massive. I understand why some people don't click with it, but it's a very, very interesting game. I've been playing it. I've been having a good time with it. It's not like a game of the year contender or anything, but for being a free game that's just, it's a junk food game. It's a game that you play like you're popping popcorn. It's not gonna change you in any significant way. It's not gonna like change your life, but it fills a void and it feels good, I think that's the key. Kappa, thank you for the 29 months. What's up, G? I'm really hoping to see Dispatch win Best Indie Debut. The writing and character building alone makes me want to scream for a sequel. Yeah, I would love to see it win. Considering I think it's only nominated for one thing, I think, if I recall correctly. And I hope it wins it, personally. But if it wins it, or if Claire Obscure wins it, either one could win, and I'd be like, fair, Knockout MMA, thank you for that. Super chat, do you think Rockstar protests affects deadline? Protests affect the deadline. Do you mean Rockstar calling for them to move the deadline back so GTA 6 can be considered for Game of the Year? Yeah, I think so. Mr. Beard, thank you for that one. I still don't know how Mafia the Old Country wasn't nominated for anything this year. Like I said earlier, I think it's good, but it's not as good as some of this other stuff. It's good, but there can only be 6. And if you're just not quite there, you just miss out. And that's just what happens. Resident as Evil. Thank you for the 5. Your opinion if a category for best horror/thriller game and best DLC of the year was added to the Game Awards show. I do think there should be a category for best DLC, best expansion, or whatever you want to call it. Because I think every year there's a good number of expansions and they deserve some recognition because some of them are fantastic. Sometimes if a game's expansion is so good, they'll just nominate it for an award anyways. Like Phantom Liberty, I think, was nominated for stuff independently, even though it was an expansion. But yeah, I think there should be a dedicated category for that. As for horror/thriller games, there's enough now. A few years ago, you might not be able to do it because there'd be like 2 games to be nominated. But I do think that nowadays you could probably get away with it. There's enough. There's enough. Thank you for the 5. I think Dispatch nomination was based only off the first few episodes. The full game didn't make the cut probably, or the cutoff probably. I suspect you're right, which is unfortunate because it's so good. I think if it had launched like September, I think it would have been nominated for a lot more stuff. That's just a gut feeling, but that's just what it is. Let's see. Okay, Lunar again. Thank you for that super chat asking if the cutoff will be moved for GTA 6. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're probably right. Gen Shazam, thank you for the 10.
Mr. Beard donated 36 Qatari Riyals and 99 dirhams through Super Chat. I really want to play Expedition 33 for the story, but I absolutely hate turn-based combat.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's one of those things where if it's just not for you, that is okay. You know, there's some games just in format that just don't click with people, and that is totally fine. You know, I think one of the problems that can happen for some people is that they see that a game is popping off in popularity, and then they try to force themselves to play it, and it just doesn't click, you know? And then they feel like something's wrong with them. When no, it's just maybe you don't like turn-based combat. In the same vein, like I remember there were people that tried Elden Ring and were like, I've heard amazing things about it, but it's basically like Dark Souls, but open world. And it's like, yeah, that's why a lot of people love it. But if it's not for you, that's okay. It is okay. And if you're not into turn-based stuff, it's totally fine. Thankfully, there are a lot of, there's a lot of really good like story synopsis videos. There's people that have cut scenes together into like a movie. So you could just look up Expedition 33, the movie, and there's been edits people have done to put the whole story together into a movie format, and you can enjoy it that way. So there's always options. Let's see. Again, Shazam, again, thank you for the 10. I love Dispatch, but I think this is more of an awards show structure issue than a voter issue. Nominations likely closed before the release of the last Dispatch chapters. Yeah, like you said earlier, I think it's just unfortunate. If that is why it's not nominated for more stuff, that's just too bad because it's so good. Cindy, again, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. That was very generous. Christopher Burnett, thank you for the 5. I think it would have been funny if Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Ninja Gaiden Black Remaster, and Ninja Gaiden 4 got nominated for Best Action Game like Expedition 33 and voice nods. Oh, they just gave it like 3 nods. It's like, fight it out. that would have been funny. That would have been funny. Let's see. Krieg Zeus, thank you for the 2. Yelling does not equal funny. Y'all's brain rotted about burnt peanut. Honestly, fair. You know me. I can be a bit of a boomer myself. Sometimes too. Hold on. Have to represent. Yeah, we have to respect our elders and straighten out the shirt. There we go. Gonna be a dad. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy Mr. Peanut. Burnt peanut. Jimbo, thank you for the 5 months. He's hilarious, blown up. Oh yeah, I read that one. Real serious, thank you for 6 months. Every game is a role-playing game. Feels like it nowadays. On, thank you for the 5. I doubt GTA 6 makes the cutoff if they don't do early reviews, so we may get GTA versus Intergalactic and maybe The Witcher 4 for 2027. That'd be crazy. Dude, if they don't move it and GTA doesn't hit the cutoff and then they do an entire award show where GTA 6 is just not present, that would be so fascinating. It'd be so fascinating. But I have to imagine Jeff is gonna wiggle it. He'll adjust it. Because I'm betting that they probably just push the Game Awards back to, maybe they try to get it back to like December 15th or something. I don't know what day of the week that is, but maybe they try to shift it back a week or something. I don't know. That's what happened with Cyberpunk. Is that what happened? Did they move the cutoff date? Because Cyberpunk was December 10th. Is that when it launched? I think it's been a few years. They did not move it. Oh, that's what you're saying. They did not move it, so Cyberpunk didn't hit the cutoff. Maybe that's the policy, is that they just say suck it. I mean, it probably would be exciting for a lot of games to be able to still win next year, even though I think a lot of people expect GTA 6 is just gonna sweep. But a lot of people thought that about Red Dead 2 as well. People thought there's no way Red Dead 2 doesn't win, and then it didn't win. So you never know. There can always be an upset, and there might be something next year to upset. You never know. Might be something crazy that happens that just blows people away. But I guess time will tell. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Thank you for the super chat. AC Shadows got the participation sticker, dude. Yeah, hey, you gotta take it. Nominated for an award at the Game Awards. Hey, it still counts. Gary, thank you for the 5. Kyle, thank you for the 10. Luke, let's see, I read that one already. From Kyle. Luke, thank you for the 5. Well, look what happened to Black Myth Wukong. It got attacked by the far left for not being, I guess, progressive or whatever. Well, I think it was also just to be fair. Black Myth Wukong was a good game. It was far from a perfect game. And I don't personally think it was one of the like best games of the year. It was very good. It was ridiculous. It wasn't nominated for like anything. They just pretended like it didn't exist. As far as I recall, maybe it was nominated for like best action. I think it was nominated for best action. Was it? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I think it's easy to latch onto it because IGN did some really, really stupid articles that's why it didn't get more recognition. But also, just at the end of the day, it was a good game, but it was far from like a masterpiece. You know, there was lots of room to polish and to refine. It's important to remember the PS5 port also at launch ran like ass, and you know, it's easy for us to forget that stuff to pursue a narrative. But I think that's also part of it, is that it was good, but it just wasn't amazing. Amazing, you know, amazing. Cindy, thank you for the 5. Did you see Carol Coleman from Warhorse moved over to CD Projekt Red to write quests for Witcher 4? Yes, we did look at that on stream like a week ago, whenever it happened. Very interesting. It's a good get for them. Knows what he's doing. And it makes me even more excited for Witcher 4. So yeah, I think that's really good. Really, really good. Alucard, we're almost there, guys. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the 5. One thing I'm looking forward to is seeing Todd sit front row at the Game Awards and watching Witcher 4 take Game of the Year over Elder Scrolls 6. Dude, Todd he keeps every interview he's done for the last like year is him adjusting expectations and like walking back expectations. So I think what they're doing is they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, but I think it's taking a good bit longer than they anticipated, and I think that's extending deadlines and everything. So I'm starting to seriously suspect if Elder Scrolls is like actually 4 years away, like 2029. I've been going off of the guesstimate of 2028, because back in 2023 Phil Spencer was doing an FTC hearing, interview, deposition, whatever. And he said at that point in 2023, he's like, yeah, later this year we have Starfield coming, and then Elder Scrolls 6. With the Elder Scrolls 6, what he said was, we're talking about a game that is at least 5 years away. Or no, he said 5+ years away, which would put it 2028 as of 2023. And I feel like Bethesda's output has slowed even since then. So I'm starting to seriously wonder if it's like a 2029 game. So we might see Witcher 4 like a year or two significantly earlier than Elder Scrolls. But I do agree it would be really interesting and funny to see a head-to-head of Witcher 4 versus Elder Scrolls. That would be very, very interesting and kind of funny. Rock, thank you for the 2. Can you sell the gunk under your toenails? Can I? Sure could. Will I? DM me. Wrong button. DM me. Yeah. This is a business after all, frankly. You know, this is a business. P McDonald, thank you again. Or McDonald, where did I get McDonald? P Mac Dancer Dude. Dance Dude, thank you for the 10 again. Appreciate you for that. We read that one earlier. Kingdom Man Sky, thank you again for the recommendation on what Corey should be working on, a turn-based turn-based God of War game.
Atreus, Garcon.
I'd play that. And also P Mac Dance Dude, thank you for the membership as well. Appreciate you. And Mr. Beard, again, thank you for that. Super chat. And TP, thank you for the super chat. Why was Witcher 4 nominated if it's not coming in 2026? Well, the only requirement was that it has to be an announced game that people are anticipating. So it could be 27, could be 28. Who knows? But it was technically announced. Expedition Omega, dude, that'd be fire. So Corey did hear it. Confirmed. Well, we're gonna know if Kratos randomly says Garçon in the next game. We'll know where it came from. That would be very funny. I can imagine Kratos leaning down, picking up a baguette, just like,
What the fuck is this?
yeah, it'd be so good. Oh, it'd be so funny. Sorry, thank you for the 10.
Sorry
read it.
donated £9.99 through Super Chat. You may have already talked about this, but what do you think of the Steam machine? Is it worth swapping my PS5 for it, or would I be better off going ahead and selling a kidney to get a PC?
Swapping your PS5 for it? I think I would wait until like actual reviews have happened personally. I'd wait, especially because we don't know what the price is. We don't know what final performance will be like. But as of right now, I would settle on keeping your PS5, because all that they said, Steam said, or Valve said, that they expect it to cost roughly as much as a starter PC, which can kind of mean anything, but it suggests somewhere in that, like, to me, $800 plus or minus $150. I hope it's less. I personally think it could be really successful at like 500, give or take 50. At 800, I think it's tougher to land and be convincing for a lot of people. But it's probably, in terms of performance, people way smarter than me have said that performance-wise, it's expected to be probably above a Series S, but less than a Series X, somewhere in there. So I think it will fit a certain niche of the market, certain people that just want to be able, like me, who like PC gaming, play a lot of games on PC, but we'd like to also have the option to play it up on our TV in the living room or something. And I think for those people, it'll be a good fit, but it may not be on the fidelity level or anything to replace like a PS5 or something. So I would personally wait until we know pricing, till we know actual performance. But my expectation is that it's probably going to be a solid device as a secondary device to complement a PS5 or something, to be able to get your Steam library starting to build up and stuff like that. But yeah, I think if you're playing on a bigger TV, a PS5 is going to probably serve you better than a Steam machine, at least at the start. Will it allow free unlimited modding? What they said is you can put any OS on it you want. You can do any of that stuff. In terms of modding, I'm assuming you mean just like modifying the device itself. You can swap out the NVMe SSD. You can swap out the RAM. But the other stuff, the CPU and GPU are soldered on for both thermal benefits and for size benefits as well. So you won't be able to swap those out. Anti-cheat's a big problem on Linux. I was told in the comments of our video on it that there actually are a lot of anti-cheats that work on Linux. It's more of a developer issue, with developers not working to support them, which I could see. I could see that being an issue. Sorry, my lungs are not happy today. I don't know what happened. Not happy. TP, when are you gonna do Game Awards prediction reveals? Xbox saying their next device is gonna be even more powerful. Thoughts?
Bradley Collin donated £10 through Super Chat. I like to think Bethesda have slowed down and are locking in with Elder Scrolls 6 because of all of the feedback and complaints they've gotten over the last few years. What do you think?
I also like to think that, but is that what most likely is happening? I personally wouldn't bet on it, but I would like that to be true. My frustration is that I just personally feel as though the community's been very, very vocal with what needs to change and what people want out of Elder Scrolls 6 and what they don't want. And it seems to me that the requests and demands have gone unheeded. And to what extent that's just PR talk versus what they actually think, I'm not sure. But like if everybody says, hey, Starfield's procedural generation tech, we did not like it because it was antithetical to what you do well. You guys do handcrafted environments and exploration very well. Please do that, not procedural stuff. That's what like everybody agrees on. There's maybe 5% of like BGS fans who are arguing that procedural tech would be good for Elder Scrolls 6. But then what do we hear? Well, we hear Todd doing interviews saying a lot of the tech they built for Starfield is going to come over to Elder Scrolls. Like they're going to bring stuff they built for Starfield and put it in Elder Scrolls, which is like the opposite of what people are asking for. And so at some point you have to pause and go like, it's why people use the term cope. Like you might just be lying to yourself if you're like, well, what he actually means is not what he's saying, but he's just saying that because he has to say that, or because it's part of like the marketing push or the PR people are telling him to say. But at some point, maybe just believe him when he says that, you know? And that's where I'm at. I've just decided to start believing what he says. And when you do that with Todd, unfortunately, you end up with a company that is prioritizing paid mods. It's primarily prioritizing a live service push. It's trying to turn even their 10-year-old like single player games into live service monstrosities. And they regularly break them, but then they regularly insist every opportunity that everything is great, everything is grand, and that they have more users than ever. But Todd, the game's broken, worse than it was 10 years ago. Yeah, but we have more players than we've ever had before. And it's like, okay, technically you're right, but like you're not addressing the concern, you know? So I agree with you, Bradley. I hope that's true. And they're just going into like hunker down mode and they're working their butts off and it's going to be awesome. I hope that's true. Because it's why I talk about Bethesda so much. People sometimes are like, why do you focus on it so much? It's because I'm a fan. Like I love Fallout. I love the Elder Scrolls. I grew up playing these games and I want them to be great. And I'm a firm believer though, that glazing and just pretending that everything's great when it's not doesn't actually fix stuff. Like I think tough love is something that can avoid a lot of headaches in the industry. And I'll tell you guys right now, I can't be specific for obvious reasons, but I have worked with numerous companies in this industry who have invited me and others to provide feedback on games, some of which are like have since launched, others that are still in development, some that may have been canceled, but like they've asked for feedback because they want that honest, hardcore feedback before it is revealed, before they find out the hard way when it's too late. So they bring people like me or other content creators or other journalists, whatever. They bring them in, they show them what they're working on, and they want to know ahead of time if this is a bad idea to get that feedback so they don't have like a Concord situation. That has not happened with Elder Scrolls, to be very clear. BGS, I'm sure, you know, if they wanted to reach out, they would, but that has not happened with BGS. It's happened with other studios, and when they've expressed interest in getting tough love feedback early, it tends to work out very well for them. And I hope that they are doing that, you know, secretively or something, but who knows? Who knows? But that's what I think BGS needs, is they need to open up the doors a little bit. They need to get feedback from people who are not going to just glaze them and tell them everything is great. And they need to get that tough love feedback so they can make adjustments. Because I swear to God, if they end up revealing Elder Scrolls 6 and it's like mostly procedurally generated, talk about Firestorm. Like the meltdown and the outrage is going to be crazy. I can already see the Starfield 6, you know, I can already see people doing it. And I think it would be a mistake. And it's a mistake that they could avoid right now if they listen to feedback. And I just don't think they are. That's my frustration. So to answer your question, nah. What do I think? Nah. I hope, yeah, but I think, nah. Leo Breaker, thank you for the 2. Luke, I love Skyrim. Would I enjoy ESO on PS5? I genuinely, as somebody that really liked Skyrim, especially back in the day, I fell off of ESO very quickly. Tried it. I've tried it actually numerous times over the years, trying to get into it, and I just haven't. It's an MMO. It's not a single player adventure narrative game or sandbox game. It is something else. And so for me, I bounced off of it real quick, real hard, and it's just not for me. Maybe it will be for you if you like other MMOs and stuff, but all I can do is frame it around my experience. And my experience as a fan of Skyrim was that it was not for me. So that'd be my recommendation. My guess would be probably not. Probably not. Oh, you're right. Supra, I can't read. Supra Star DC. Superstar DC. Thank you for the 5. What's your favorite musical? I'm gonna play it really, really safe. Les Miserables. Les Miserables.
Garçon.
That could be another thing. You could have Kratos stand on stage.
One day more, garçon.
We can do that. That could work. We could do that. You like the Nutcracker? Shrek, the musical, is unironically really, really good. Really, really good. Hold on, I want to see if I had this saved. Because I saw this and it was like kind of bizarre. Here. I might have shown this on stream, actually. I don't remember. But I don't know if Corey is still in chat, but I wanted to see his reaction to this if he is. Because somebody made some AI slop. Come on. Load, damn you. Okay, you ready? You ready for some AI slop? Corey's next project leaked. The God of War musical.
That sharpens my steel. The past is a shadow that sharpens my steel. But the boy is a light I have sworn to shield.
We walk through the winter, the gods on our trail. Our story a whisper that will never fade.
It's like upsettingly not horrible. You know?
Sharpens my steel, but the boy is a light I have sworn to shield.
We walk through the winter, the gods on our trail. Our story a whisper that will never fade.
I just can only imagine how disgustingly hard that would be to sing. Like in the Kratos voice perpetually, like 8 nights a week. That'd be very hard. But yeah, there you go. Did you ever know that there was a God of War musical? Yeah, there you go. Boom. But actually, I'm not mad about it. I think it could be cool. And then the Draugr on the top.
We walk through the winter, the gods on our trail. Our story a whisper that will never fade.
It's insane. So there you go. Your daily dose of internet slop. Corey, oh shit. Our musical just leaked. God damn it. Yeah. Dude, I actually wonder. This is a free tip, Corey. Free tip. If you want to just immediately solve the problem of leaks, all of these companies should just start putting the Sora watermark on their actual like in studio development clips and stuff. So if it leaks, people are like, no, it's got the Sora watermark. It's not real. Problem solved. Done. Everybody will immediately doubt it the second it drops because it's got the watermark, even though it actually is real. See? Big brain. Big brain. There you go. That's free. Nothing's real anymore. Dude, for real. Thank you for the 3. AI being good is a real issue. It's the problem is when like the AI slop starts to trick people and it like actually is kind of real. Like you remember those like alleged Black Flag leaks? Leaked screenshots, I guess, maybe. Oh, that was not okay. Well, there's if you search Black Flag leaks, Some not safe for work pictures may pop up. Be warned. Be warned. So like some of these leaks, this was the one I saw, and they claimed that it was a Black Flag remake leak. And some of the, like this one, more believable, but conveniently you'll notice like it's taken with a phone, a picture of a computer screen, which already you're degrading the quality. And then like the hands are conveniently, you can't see them. You can't really make out the details on the belt, which is something AI fails with. But when you start to look closely, like I think this is supposed to be a gun or a pistol, but it looks like it also turned into a notebook at the handle. Like you start to look and it just doesn't look right at all, right? Like the buckles don't make sense. And the longer you look at it, the more problems you find, which is a common thing. Like even over here, this is like a smokestack that's poking up from the middle of the roof, because I think the AI didn't know what it was doing. Like it just, the longer you look at it, the less it makes sense. Some of the other clips though, they start to look really, really AI very quickly. Like you can just tell this is the most hilariously stupid one. There's a handle on both sides of the sword. You know? Like these leaks right now are clearly AI. Like you can clearly tell. It's very easy. Why does he just have a cup on his belt? Like no ship is set up this way. This doesn't make any sense. What is this supposed to be? These little bitty thing? Like it doesn't make sense. The mast is off center. It just, the whole thing, right? Same with this. The bell doesn't look right. Clearly AI again. Like this thing is supposed to be a fountain, but it's recessed. Like the whole thing doesn't work. So these are clearly AI, but these are like, they're only getting better. And it's going to be like actually very difficult, excuse me, to tell when the leaks are real or not, which is why everything is just going to start to be nonsense. Even real leaks, we'll look back 10 years in the future and be like, oh, that was real. But real leaks, I think, are going to be maybe even less of a worry, because everybody will just hand wave it away as AI, right? Because it's like, so maybe you don't even need to do the Sora watermark. Maybe you don't even have to worry about it, because everybody will just be like, no, it's, there it is. Wait, no freaking way. Is this true? I just read the stupidest thing I've ever read. This is insane. Do you guys remember the Subnautica 2 drama? Does that ring a bell? Basically, there was a whole thing where the co-founders of the studio Unknown Worlds, they were fired out of nowhere. And then they filed a lawsuit against Krafton, the publisher and the owner of their company that fired them. They sued the publisher and the owner, Krafton, because they said that they were owed about $250 million in bonuses if Subnautica 2 hit certain sales targets. So the allegation was basically that Krafton, the parent company, fired them so they wouldn't have to pay them the $250 million bonus, right? Krafton said it was because of like they weren't hitting deadlines, there were things that they weren't doing right and all of that, but it's a whole drama, and lawsuits were filed and all of that. But there is a new report coming from Kotaku, and they outlined some of the accusations levied in a new filing with regard to the lawsuit. The filing alleges that they have evidence that the Subnautica 2 publisher allegedly asked ChatGPT to find a way out of paying the co-founders. And it was from that advice they came up with the idea to fire the founders and accuse them of like missing deadlines and stuff. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty dumb. Your Honor, the robot told me to do it. It told me to. A copy of a pre-trial briefing recently filed on behalf of Unknown founders Charles Cleveland and Adam Max McGuire and Ed Edward Ted Gill, includes new evidence they say vindicates their side of the dispute, namely that Krafton was well aware of their ongoing roles within the company, that they weren't directly leading Subnautica 2's development, and that concerns about delaying the top wish-listed Steam game over missing content only arose after Krafton got worried about having to make the $250 million payout it agreed to back when it acquired the studio. Quote, Krafton terminated the founders and seized control of Unknown Worlds in order to avoid the earnout, reads the group's latest filing. Smoking Gun documents show that Krafton was looking for ways to quote-unquote cancel the earnout, and its secret Project X was designed to either make a deal on the earnout or execute a takeover. When the founders would not agree to Krafton's demands related to the amount, Krafton decided the takeover would be the easier route. It goes on to cite snippets of internal communications at Krafton, including an apparent conversation between the publisher's CEO, Kim Chang-han, and its head of global operations, Richard Yoon. As you can see here, they have an exchange. This is dated June 27th of 2025, where they said, Richard, who is the head of global operations, said, I had a phone call a little while ago. This time they're asking for $75 million for themselves and $40 million for the team members. The payout would be distributed. They say they won't do it unless we negotiate the packages of the teams together. Then Richard Yoon says again, the bucket for the team members we are thinking of at present is roughly 10 million. And then he says, it might be easier to just take over, ... And then the CEO says, set a date and send a letter if you need to send it in advance. I mean, that doesn't sound great for Krafton, frankly. The exchange suggests Krafton was not only seeking to lowball the co-founders on their original bonus, but the rest of the development team as well. The new filing also claims that Krafton felt it had overpaid for Unknown Worlds and wanted to avoid following through on the original contractually obligated payouts at all costs, even going so far as to ask an AI chatbot for help. Quote, Maria Park told Kim that it, quote, seems to be highly likely that the earnout will still be paid if the sales goal is achieved, regardless of the dismissal with cause. The new filing reads, Kim turned to artificial intelligence to help him brainstorm ideas to avoid, Jesus Christ, Kim, who again, Kim is the CEO. Kim, quote, Kim turned to artificial intelligence to help him brainstorm ways to avoid paying the earnout. ChatGPT likewise advised that it would be, quote unquote, difficult to cancel the earned payout. The co-founders claimed that Krafton refused to produce the ChatGPT conversations and when pressed confirmed that they no longer exist. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How can you prove that though? Well, at this point it's claims. The difficulty and the real problem, at least in U.S. courts, there's a, what is the term for it? I'm gonna have to Google. There's a term. I remember my grandpa telling me about it because he was a lawyer back in the day, a practicing lawyer in Denver. What is the term for, or legal term for what happens when someone deletes evidence or destroys evidence? There's a term for it, of what happens, but basically there can be sanctions, case dismissal, adverse inference, spoliation, that's it. I think that's what it is. So parties who are found guilty of spoliation or spoliating evidence related to civil lawsuit can face a number of negative consequences. If it's established that a party had noticed that the evidence would be relevant to an existing or potential lawsuit, judges have a number of penalties at their disposal when deciding to punish a party for destroying evidence. The most common penalty for spoliation of evidence is an adverse inference charge. This basically means that the finder of fact, likely a jury, is entitled to take a negative inference against a party because that party destroyed evidence. In addition, a judge may make it harder for a party to prosecute or defend a claim because of spoliation. For instance, a judge may determine that a party cannot deny that certain elements of a cause of action have been established because the other party has made it difficult to prove this element because relevant evidence had been destroyed. And then in like the most extreme cases, the judge can even hold that a party wins or loses a case by default because of spoliation of evidence. Spoliation. I don't know. So if it's found that once all this started coming up, they then went and deleted the ChatGPT conversation, which I'm sure there's a log somewhere where ChatGPT like records when the conversation was deleted. If they can prove that that happened once this all started happening, because bear in mind, they were asking for ideas on how to deal with this. So I imagine that the conversation was done very quickly. And even if it happened before the lawsuit was filed, if it was deleted in an attempt to cover up evidence because they expected a lawsuit, which is fair to expect when you're talking about $250 million, the court could just go and say, no, you clearly tried to cover up evidence and delete it because you did. So either they could just hand the entire case to the founders and just say you lose automatically. That's like the most severe. Or they could allow them to use this as evidence in front of like a jury or in the case itself to say, if they're not guilty, why are they deleting chat conversations with the AI? Why are they trying to cover it up? Seems to suggest they think something's wrong. And the judge normally wouldn't allow speculation like that. But if they did delete the evidence, that's not speculation. They did delete the evidence. And if the judge establishes that that did happen officially in the court, then that introduces all other types of problems. How is asking AI any different to asking a lawyer? If you asked a lawyer for advice, they would be found, would they be found guilty? Well, there's a difference between like a licensed attorney that represents you in an official capacity and then like attorney-client privilege and a conversation with a chatbot. The problem is not necessarily that they were asking advice from the ChatGPT conversation. That's fine. You can ask anybody for advice. Like, that's fine. The problem is that they deleted the conversation. And you're probably not doing that unless you don't want them to see it, you know? So it's more the deletion of the conversation that's the big issue than that they asked for the advice. The other, I mean, the asking ChatGPT for advice on how to avoid paying $250 million to the founders, that certainly suggests that what Krafton's claiming is not true. Because what Krafton is saying is that they were fired because they weren't hitting deadlines for Subnautica 2. They weren't the best people to run that company. They claim that this had nothing to do with the payout, that they were not like coordinating to avoid paying out $250 million. That's not what happened. They were fired independent of that. That didn't have anything to do with it, which I think pretty clearly is not the case, even from just what we've seen so far. This conversation by itself is like a smoking gun in and of itself. Like they are literally presenting the claims and what they're asking for and then saying, might just be easier to take over. Like that pretty clearly, I think, suggests that this was not an independent decision that they made, you know? So anyway, we'll continue following it. Krafton did respond to this. Okay. Krafton did respond to this. Let's see. At the heart of every decision Krafton makes are fans who deserve the best possible experience. Krafton made leadership changes at Unknown Worlds when the new former executives focused on other priorities rather than Subnautica 2. Despite Krafton offering to extend the former executives' earned payout period if they return to their positions, the former executives refused to return to work and improperly retained hundreds of thousands of Unknown Worlds and Krafton confidential documents, both just before and after they were terminated. Additionally, they failed to preserve certain files after their employment ended. Through this court process, Krafton remains focused on what matters, delivering the best possible game to Subnautica's fans. Krafton will continue to present the evidence proving that the former executives did not comply with their duties as the legal proceedings move forward. So who knows? Who knows? I think it's all alleged right now, so nothing's confirmed. To me, it certainly seems like Krafton executives did not want to pay out the $250 million. So they're trying to find a way out of it, partially by asking ChatGPT how to get out of it. and then they decided, allegedly, and then they decided to go back and try and deal with it creatively. And it could be that both things are true. It could be that the co-founders were not doing their jobs and were doing a bad job and should be fired. That could be the case too. But I think a lot of this suggests that a major consideration was whether or not they would have to pay $250 million. Like, they didn't want to do that, and they were trying to find a way out of it. And conveniently, they recognized that there were problems with their executives at the exact moment they were trying to find a way out of paying them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it, but crazy if all of that is true. Absolutely wild. Wow, wow, wee, wah. Wow, wow, wee, wah. My goodness. Oh, I hadn't thought about this. Some people are suggesting that the reason why Arc Raiders isn't nominated for Best Audio Design is because of the AI VO. I wonder, because I do think it has phenomenal sound design. Like, it's very well executed for a game like that, to be able to hear where players are and what's going on. That could be part of it. It's at least been controversial, so I could see why they wouldn't want to do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the other thing going around right now. You remember on Friday, it was revealed that Ubisoft was halting trading, or I think Thursday technically, but they were halting trading. Maybe it was Wednesday. I don't remember what day it was, but they announced that they were halting trading and they were not going to share their financial results because something was going on. My suspicion has been that the Saudi Arabian private investment fund is going to work on a deal, potentially with the Guillemot family and Tencent, to take the company private. So you will have Tencent, the company, private, and then you will have the sister company, Vantage Studios, that runs everything, that will be private as well. And that, I think, is the most likely outcome. I think Saudi Arabia's private investment fund is doing an offer, and they're finalizing all the details right now. That's my expectation. I think, it could be Tencent, but I think Tencent is already so entrenched with Ubisoft. I'd be surprised if they did a deal with them specifically. Tencent may not like the idea of partnering with Saudi Arabia. That's potentially a thing, but I think most likely you're going to end up with Ubisoft, owned by the Guillemot family. Excuse me. The Guillemot family, Tencent, and Saudi Arabia private investment fund. Those three will own it. Maybe another partner or two, but I think those will be the three big ones. And then Vantage will be owned by Ubisoft and Tencent. Therefore, indirectly, Saudi Arabia as well. But I think that that's what's probably happening behind the scenes. That's my guess. Yeah, they halted the stonks. They sure did. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Sell assets. The problem for them is that the assets that they have that are valuable, they already technically shifted into Vantage. And when you have only like 3 or 4 really valuable things, you don't want to sell them unless you absolutely have to. So look, apparently the US government has acknowledged the issue with generative AI in games thanks to the whole Black Ops 7 things. What do you think about that? I saw that I think there was a member of the House of Representatives who said that he wanted to investigate it. But they also said the same thing back in 2017 with loot boxes and EA's Battlefront 2 stuff and Middle-earth Shadow of War and those loot boxes. So they said that before. They've done presentations and stuff where they say that they're gonna try to go and deal with mobile game spending and all that and gambling in kids games. They say this for like easy, cheap brownie points every year or two, it seems, and then they always find a reason to not do anything about it. So I am cynical about it, but I would not expect anything to happen personally. Sorry, whack the camera or the microphone. But I've been here before. I've heard them say this stuff before. They always say they're going to work on it, and then nothing happens. And that would be my guess, is that nothing happens. It's my expectation.
Luke M.F. Smith donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Poop.
Literally right as I get the headphones back on. Beep. Poop. Like the moment they came back online is when it says poop. That's funny. Thank you, Luke MF Smith, by the way, for that. That was very generous. Let's see. Let me do this, okay? Let me do this. Thank you for the super chat. Bethesda makes too much money to give a crap. And then Leo, thank you for the 2. Luke, I love Skyrim, what I enjoy. So, oh yeah, I read that one. Let me do this. Let me do this, okay? So, do I have an extension that's like breaking everything? What is this? Okay, let's do it this way. Okay. So we've all played Arc Raiders, if you're interested, at least so far. It's very, very good. It's tremendous. And, you know, I think its success is a very good thing for the industry. For one, because it allows a smaller studio, Embark, to come out and go head to head with some behemoths. And I think that's good, because the only way games and franchises like Call of Duty end up changing anything is if there's serious competition. Same with, like, you know, Bungie with Destiny. So I think competition increasing is really, really good. And they do a lot of stuff players have asked for from a lot of other games that those studios refuse to do. Like, for example, Arc Raiders has many viral clips going around because of proximity chat specifically. And that was something that back when we went to the Marathon preview event, they said they weren't doing because they were afraid of toxicity. And then you see it in Arc Raiders, it's helping the game blow up in popularity. And all of a sudden, games like Marathon are working on adding proximity chat. And it's because of the competition. If Arc Raiders did not launch this year, and if it wasn't a thing, they would not even bother with proximity chat, because they're like, no, screw you. But because there's competition, it forces them to work on a feature everybody says is kind of a must-have. But what's also really good is that when these companies are, like Embark, are run by non-massive giga corporations with outrageous demands for performance, which is the whole thing. Allegedly, Xbox has been mandated to hit 30% margin on their releases. They want 30% margin across the business, which requires them to crank up the crank up the monetization, crank up the everything within the game in order to try and get that 30% margin. They just got to milk more money from you. But what is happening with Arc Raiders? Well, they issued an update on November 12th. This is crazy. So it's, you know, a few days old, but I just wanted to share this and highlight it because it's so insane. Look what they're doing. Okay. For one, they say that they're prioritizing duo matchmaking. They actually have been prioritizing it behind the scenes, so people might not have noticed it, but they want to put duos together with other duos so that, you know, if you're playing with 2 players, you're not getting curb stomped by parties of 3. That's just cool. But look at, this is what's insane. Okay. Store cosmetic prices. This is, again, coming from one of the most successful games of this year. Are they doubling down? Are they getting more greedy? Are they raising prices like a lot of other companies will? We've heard your feedback. We've reviewed our prices and made adjustments to lower prices where applicable. Revised prices will go live tomorrow, Thursday the 13th. For any raider who has already made a purchase on the old pricing, we'll compensate you for the difference. They're lowering prices and then refunding people with Raider tokens the difference. What? You can do that? Like, a lot of other companies would be like, it's impossible. We can't possibly do that. And then all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, we're going to do that. Why not? Sure. There you go. This is why competition is good. This is why supporting hungry developers who are just really passionate is a good thing. I've said for like a year, 2 years, whatever it is, that I think The Finals is one of the most underrated games in the live service market. It's phenomenal and it's very well executed and it's been very good for a long time. And the same company now is doing Arc Raiders, finding tremendous success. And instead of continuing to milk people as best they can or raising prices or any of this, they're lowering prices and offering refunds automatically. Not even offering, they're forcing refunds on you if you happen to buy something with more money than it currently costs after the reduction. That's crazy. That's crazy. They stress again, there are no pay to win items in the premium raider decks. The focus on premium decks are based on cosmetics and convenience. Gameplay items are only in free raider decks. To help you along the way as a new raider, we have included some gameplay items in the free raider deck, which can be unlocked via progression. So stressing again, they're not going to make it pay to win, even though surely that would make it far more money, but they're not doing that. You remember Warzone when they had the Rose skin? Warzone Rose skin. Streamers all over the place used this because in the game, Rose being completely covered from head to toe in black cloth and clothing made it so Rose was very hard to see in shadows. So players who used Rose as a skin had a I would say unfair advantage over players that did not use the Rose skin. Kind of broke everything. And for years and years and years, this was just a thing where like it was a gameplay element. And even though they could say it was just cosmetic, it was also like a gameplay affecting thing. It was like it was a thing. Nando says, I remember using it because it was so broken. Yeah. Isn't that just being smart? Well, I mean, you could say that about any gameplay affecting thing as well, where it's like, well, the gallantry is a gun that dropped. If you remember that Warzone, the gallantry. This was like peak Warzone fame. Was when the gallantry, the 2021, it looks like. This gun, this thing was goated, okay? And it's smart to use this gun because it's so powerful. But it was also like super broken, and they conveniently just so happened to be selling it in the in-game store for the entire period that it was super broken, you know? And they could say, well, it's mainly just cosmetics, and it's also like, yeah, it's attachments, but you can get all the attachments through gameplay, through grinding out multiplayer and stuff. It just takes like, 40 hours or whatever. But yeah, it's also for sale, sure. But it was always funny how the one that they sold just so happened to be the broken one as well. Isn't it so funny how that works? The most broken one happens to be for sale constantly. Dude, this is like OG Warzone. You're not seeing ridiculous movement. You're not seeing the bunny hopping sweats and stuff. Oh, these were the days, man. These were the days. Old school Warzone. It's nothing like this now. Nowadays, it's so toxic. It's very dumb and very annoying. Anyway, but I just wanted to call that out and give them credit because it's absolutely crazy to see a company that it has an amazing success on their hands. They're actually going forward and literally paying it back, paying it forward even to their community. That's awesome. I love to see it. It's so refreshing. It's just wild. It's so good to see. So props to Embark. Shout out Arc Raiders. It's awesome. Awesome to see. So 2 thumbs up from me. TP, thank you for that super chat. Very generous. Good stream. Also, do you think the Game Awards this year will be bigger than 2024 considering all the nominees and potential reveals? And is Arc Raider meant to be played as a casual game or no? I think the benefit of Arc Raiders is that you can kind of no-life it or you can play it casually. Both work. And thankfully they have enough players that there's enough matchmaking variety to keep it interesting for either. A lot of extraction shooters end up super sweaty because that's the only people playing it. But because they have so many players, you get a good variety. So I think you can play it either way. As for the Game Awards question, I think this year probably will be the biggest one ever. And I do think there will be a lot of reveals that surprise people. Barring any like surprise, cancellations, delays, because those do happen. There was one year, was it like 3 years ago, where there was a game that was supposed to be revealed, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what it was, so I will play it safe. But there was a game that was supposed to be revealed, and last second something happened, and they had to delay the reveal. And so they didn't do it. And so there's just this hole in the show that felt kind of weird. And that type of thing does happen from time to time. It's rare, but it does happen. This year, though, I think there will be a good number of things that people see and are like, oh. So I think it's going to be fun. Should be a good one. Should be a good one. Jesus Christ be praised. KCD2 for Goaty. Oh, that'd be great. Okay. Let's see. I read that one. Anchorman, thank you for the sub with Prime, by the way, my friend. Also, Piotr, thank you for the sub over on Twitch as well. Also, to 8Unique8, thank you for the sub as well. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. The Cube, fingers crossed. Dude, I think the Cube looks fire. I'd love to see more about the Cube. I need the Cube. I need it. Yeah. Dude, actually, the Arc Raiders being snubbed at the Game Awards for audio design is actually getting people riled up. Yeah, Arc Raiders genuinely is one of the most immersive audio experiences in any video game. It being snubbed here is really disappointing to see. I seriously think it's because of the AI stuff. Since somebody said that, I'm like, actually, that makes total sense why people wouldn't want to touch it. Totally makes sense. Hold on, there were a couple of things I wanted to show you that I just thought were funny. On TikTok, I found I got served a Call of Duty ad, and I thought these comments were funny. It was a Call of Duty ad, and you can see the biggest Black Ops ever, it says. Top comment, David, game is so bad I had to call into work and ask if they got any shifts I could pick up. It's pretty funny. I'm going to use that. Damn. Anyway, so y'all playing Conquest, Breakthrough, or Escalation? Grumpa Gooby. What a name. I'd recommend you turn off comments moving forward. Didn't go well. Oh my God. I will say it was bold of them. It was bold to leave comments on. I'll give them that. It was bold. Also, I saw this. This was just adorable. Okay. It is a lady who is filming her father, I believe it is, who is really into Red Dead Redemption, has like thousands of hours in the game, and he's showing his daughter how he goes and grinds this exploit in the game to get free currency. Sorry, it's very quiet. It's a very specific exploit. He's also playing with mouse and then the arrow keys. And apparently it's because he has such bad carpal tunnel, he can't use a controller or anything. So he has to play this way. But
you get right in front of it.
You're right in front of it.
You don't need to, but if you get too close, you'll say open.
Mm-hmm.
So step on top of it. Take the money. It's all there again. See how fast it is?
Yeah, you get the money and then you become rich.
Yeah, and I take the cigarette card because they range from $1 to $2. And the change in the purse changes every time. The highest I've seen it was like $470 something.
He's got like $70,000 in the game.
The guy goes down this road, across the river, and way back, around that thing, and way back, and comes back.
He knows the exact routes the NPCs go because he's played so much. He knows the exact roads they follow, and then they come back down to drop off more stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's so cute. I love to see that kind of thing. Red Dead is one of those games that like really pierced the mainstream veil. So a lot of people got into it, even like people like this who are not like big gamers, but it became their obsession and it became their thing. And I love to see it. It's adorable. It's super cool. My man can buy Tahiti. You're damn right. It's very good. It's very good. I thought it was very cute. It's very sweet. Okay. So my other plan for today, I didn't realize how late it was. My other plan today was to go and do a deep dive into Duskbloods, because I want to talk about that. I feel like nobody is talking about Duskbloods, but the Duskbloods, that like there's a number of videos on it and breakdowns on it, which is really interesting. One of the most interesting comments, and I felt representative comments I saw though, was this one, where this guy just says Miyazaki is cooking and we're locked out of the kitchen. because apparently in the also a great picture of a cobra with a top hat. Apparently a lot of people in the like FromSoft Soulsborne community are still conflicted over whether they're going to buy a Switch 2 for the Duskbloods. And I just find it so fascinating that this is a game from one of the most prolific and accomplished developers in the industry, but it's a console exclusive to a console that very few, as far as I can tell, of the core FromSoft fan base actually have. It's very interesting to me. Like, it could end up being, Duskbloods could end up being like the Elden Ring of 2026. It could end up being that big of a thing. Never doubt From Software. It could end up being huge. It's the next Miyazaki game after all. Like, he knows what he's doing. But it's got this huge asterisk next to it where in order to play it, you gotta buy a $550 console, or 500, I don't remember what it is now. And because it's an online game, you also have to sign up for a Nintendo Online subscription. And I genuinely do not know how that goes. Because I do this for a living, and I hate the idea of that. I hate the idea that it's a console exclusive, and it requires the paid online membership. It just doesn't sound good, right? I'll just pirate and emulate. I genuinely, maybe you guys know, because I honestly don't know. If with a game like this, which is built for multiplayer co-op, do emulators do that? Do emulators like support online co-op for a game like this? I'm sure you could probably set up like a peer-to-peer thing. I see an indeed, sir, and then not at all. Peer-to-peer, probably, yeah. Yeah, peer-to-peer. Yeah, I think that's the only way you could do it, which honestly would probably work better than the Nintendo one, because I've heard horror stories of how bad the Nintendo one is. But we'll see. I mean, it's just, man, it's a tough sell. Because again, the Nintendo Switch 2 right now, like there's not a whole lot. Oh, it's down to $450, about $450 or $500. I can't. Sometimes it's $450. Okay, the bundle is $500. The console is down at $450. Okay, that's better than you know, I was braced for. But like, it's not a game with a lot of Soulsborne games on it. You know, I think the vast majority of the Soulsborne community is on PC or console, and so I think that they're gonna have to buy this. And then I think the online is what? Is it $30 for the year? I want to say $8 a month, or $30 for the year, or $60 for the year, or something. Assuming they don't raise the prices. Because the whole reason I think that they paid who knows how much money to get access to this game as an exclusive. I think the whole reason they did that was to excuse me, was to try and buff the Nintendo Online subscription. And so I think that they're probably going to investigate price hikes for the Nintendo Online membership right before this comes out. And I'm sure it's going to be very good, but like, Nintendo didn't pay ungodly amounts of money to make this exclusive just for like the fun of it. They did it to try and get something out of it. And I think it's not just selling consoles, but I think it's also like buffing their online subscription. Nintendo Online is like $30 to $35 a year. Yeah, and people coming off of like PC gaming, they're not going to love that. So that ends up being like $480. This, let's be honest, is probably an $80 game. Nintendo said that they only want to do that for their like top AAA stuff, which was, as of so far, it's been Mario Kart World. But that would put it at $480 for the console and the online membership. You probably are going to need a pro controller for something like this that's very input dependent, but that's not necessary. You could use Joy-Cons, but you probably want a pro controller, which is like another 80 or 90. So that takes you to like, let's just say $570. And then you need the game, which is probably another 80, which takes you like $650. and like I get it. FromSoft is amazing. Miyazaki does great, but like 650. Like, is the Pro Controller really 100? Dude, I don't even know anymore. Like, will the average FromSoft gamer care $650 worth? And that I just genuinely am so curious to see. Because they might. A lot of these people, these are like the only games they're playing. But the fact that it's also multiplayer based, I think will be something a lot of people will latch on to probably justify not getting it. I think a lot of people will be like, if it were basically Elden Ring 2, yeah, but because it's multiplayer, I'm good. I have Night Rain on PC or PS5 or whatever, so I'll just do that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. Just playing Night Rain. I think a lot of people will do that, yeah. That might have been part of the strategy of Night Rain too, was to put that out so that people would have an alternative just in case. Yeah, Elden Ring creators looking to multiplayer games like Escape from Tarkov for inspiration. I don't know. My thing is, again, and I think maybe Wednesday we'll go and we'll look at the whole Vata video from 7 months ago talking about it. But I think it's going to be fascinating to see kind of how it settles. But I really do wonder how that goes. My gut says $650 minimum. Not minimum, I guess $570 would be minimum, assuming you're not buying a Pro Controller. But around $600 for one game, that game's got to be pretty damn good. Like, if it reviews like Elden Ring, then all bets are off. I think it becomes literally a console seller. But if it's not, if it ends up being kind of a Night Rain review situation where it's like reviewing well, it's like a B+ type game, then I think it's very curious to see how it ends up. So we'll do a deep dive on it. We'll just wait to emulate it. I think a lot of people probably will. And I'm sure Nintendo is aware of that too. And they are going to be prepared to do all sorts of stuff. I think they'll probably try doing all sorts of like major make an example of this person thing like they've done before when people have been emulating, and there's been companies that try to offer emulation services and stuff. I think they'll go shut down the company and send cease and desists to people using it, and it's going to be a thing. It's going to be a whole thing. So we'll deep dive it. Don't worry. Sounds like Brokey Boy talk. Dude, I can't wait for that. Remember Suicide Squad for a $70 multiplayer game? There were people calling each other brokies for not wanting to spend $70 on it. Imagine the level this will reach. Like Soulsborne, FromSoft stuff can be toxic by itself sometimes. But man, just wait until there's like a $650 price point attached to it. It's going to be funny. So we'll see. From Software is also working on a single player game. Yeah, no, they to be clear, they're not like fully transitioning to online stuff. At least as far as we can tell. But yeah, they are working on multiple different projects. They now have like 400 plus employees. They've grown a lot. I think they're like 25 to 35% bigger than they were when Elden Ring launched. So they've hired a lot. They've grown a lot. But seemingly they've grown a lot to also maintain and grow live service projects as well. And personally, for me, I want the single player stuff. I want their Elden Rings. I want their Dark Souls, their Sekiros. I want those games. I'm not that into the Night Rain vibe, you know? But to be fair, I've been playing Elden Ring seamless co-op mod, and that is fire. So maybe if they can get basically Elden Ring 2, but they work on it to get it so it supports like full seamless co-op officially, that could be fire too. That could be fire too. I don't know. Yeah, Night Rain is weird because it's dependent on expansions to add new content, which they're doing. I think in December is the first one, and then they have another one slated for next year. So they're not doing like monthly updates or anything like that, but it is it's an online multiplayer game. So it's kind of a hybrid. December 4th. I was thinking the 6th for some reason, but yeah, December 4th. That sounds right. Yeah. I need Night Rain or Duskbloods to have split screen. Dude, that would be fire. That'd be cool. Night Rain came and went. I don't actually know where it's at right now. I don't actually know. Oh, they got 12,000 in game. I mean, back when it dropped at launch, it went to 313. I was so off on this one. People, you know, Luke, when have you been wrong? Many times. But this was probably like the biggest one most recently. I did not think it was going to blow up this big, but it exploded, dude. Lots of people played it. What happened on September 11th? That's going to get clipped out of context. What happened on this day that made the player spike from 40,000 roughly to 100? Maybe it went on sale. Must have been something there. But it now sits at like, I wonder why it dropped off so much here. $30,000. Oh, I guess it starts tracking daily here, and then here it's going, or interday. Look, must have forgotten. It was all a dream. Jeez. I said it out loud. What happened on 9/11? Well, that's going to get clipped. There we go. Craig says, think of the two Nintendo games are for children. F them. F Nintendo or F the children? I feel like it's important to distinguish. This is why punctuation's important, guys. This is why. Sorry, Kriegers. This is crucial. Anyway. So we'll get into that. We'll tackle all of it in detail. I want to do the deep dive on Duskbloods because I just find it so interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Punctuation wouldn't have cleared that up, to be frank. Nintendo games are for children. I guess you're right. I'm trying to think of a way to punctuate that sentence without where it doesn't sound. Yeah, I guess there's no saving that. It's an unfortunate sentence. What are you gonna do? Anyway, I think what I'll do, guys, I'm sorry I'm hacking so bad. I don't know what my deal is, but very dry cough. It's driving me crazy. Maybe I just need an inhaler or something. I don't know. But either way, thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been wonderful. I wanted to get through more stuff, but I won't subject you to more hacking and coughing. I appreciate the gosh darn heck out of you guys for hanging out with me, having a wonderful day. I will be back on Wednesday is my plan. I have some further exciting stuff to share as we circle out and round out the year, but it's been wonderful. I appreciate the gosh darn heck out of every single one of you guys. It's been a phenomenal year. Next year is going to be even more insane. And I owe that to all of you guys. So truly thank you. Okay. We'll be back soon. Much love. Much love. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'll see you very, very soon. Okay. Much love. Till next time. Mwah.